Hey, between you and I.
Hold on. Oh, wait. I hit the
Oh,
live.
okay. I'll say it live.
All right. All right, we live now. Hold on, let me play the music real quick for a little minute. Y'all hit the like button on the way in. Appreciate everybody who shared the live. What's good, Sour, First Lady, Miss Deb, Remy. Finna play a little instrumental real quick. Start it off, then we're gonna get into it.
For sure.
Hi, Tino.
That's a banger.
Hi, Tino.
All right. That's cool. That's good enough. Let's get into it. What's going on? I ain't been live in a minute on this channel.
That shit was slapping too.
Yeah, I just was searching for a beat real quick just to play it real quick. Cause I don't know, I was thinking of a song, but I take forever to think of a song and start off a live sometimes. So I just looked up a quick beat real quick, and that motherfucker was, like you said, it was slapping. So we're gonna go with that. What was
Yeah.
good, everybody? What was good, Nami, Anita, King Ty, what it do, bruh? Alicia, Tammy Lynn. Appreciate everybody coming through. Want to get a quick little discussion. It's gonna be an open discussion, open panel. Anybody can come on and express their opinions. It's gonna be a really just open topic as well as an open panel. But for the most part, we're gonna talk about just a little pre-debate. If you don't know, the last presidential debate is going down tonight in a couple hours. So we'll talk a little politics, talk Ice Cube contract with Black America, and any other current events that's going on. We can talk about some of the new things that's going on with the Breonna Taylor case. And again, anything else y'all want to bring up that come up. Tricks are for kids. What's going on? Sean, anything you want to say?
Nah, just anticipating getting into it.
Yeah, and I'm gonna drop the link. Like I said, open. You can come up and express your opinions. I'm gonna do my best to read the chat because I know most people would rather just sit and type in the chat.
I'll help you out.
So, and I know it'd be a problem because a lot of times, you know, during a discussion, people, ignore the chat sometimes. So I'm gonna try to make sure and, and get y'all feedback from in the chat and y'all opinions and all that. So yeah, let's. I guess we started off. What you feel about the debate tonight? You plan on watching it or?
All right. So I wanted to talk to you over a group of people because I think sometimes a personal opinion or a personal view get misconstrued as a person telling somebody what they should do. And should, like what you should do and what I would do, two totally different things. And
Right.
I think, the chat has a great influence because if nobody's in the chat, then we don't talk. You don't go live if not enough people in there to talk to. You know what I mean? No disrespect to the few that are. But the thing is, sometimes the chat will go a whole nother way. One thing I realize about us as people, and I'm a black man. I'm going on 42 years old, and I try to be objective, even as a black man with black people, and not see everything as race. But one thing I noticed that we do is we can talk for weeks about one subject that doesn't matter,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll talk for 5 minutes about a subject that matters to all of us, and then it gets lost. It's just the next big thing comes up. So I want to challenge our people to not be this divisive as we are sitting at the table. Get something collectively, and then we come back and talk about that thing that we got. But I think it's hard for us to get one, not even one. It's hard for us to get something from that group of people we're asking for for it from, and we're so divisive on every little thing. So just to start it off, I think that's a big problem I have, because if you bring up an issue right now, 10 people are gonna have 8 or 9 different views. And I think we need to get behind each other with one strong opinion as to how we should move as a group of people. And then after we are given what we're asking for, we come together as a conglomerate and decide how we're going to divide up that pie. You get what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely agree. A lot of times, we quick to jump down each other's necks. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of that is because we got our own beliefs. And people believe in their beliefs. So, and you know, that's what I believe causes most of the division. Especially amongst our own people. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got their own beliefs, even though we try to come together as a collective. But once you disagree, then usually people part ways. So
Mm-hmm.
we gotta see, really, you just gotta grow up, you know what I'm saying, and know that you always gonna disagree with somebody. Like, even, just look at it on YouTube. You don't agree with everything a channel holder that you follow do, or what they say, or what
Right.
they believe in. You don't believe in everything, but you still fuck with them.
Yeah. True. And you speak of, because I always reference Drop because that's where I came from, and I always try to let people know, like, he's a great example to use for that example, because, like, for example, I'm rocking with Drop. When I see him live, I'm coming over. As an individual man, some shit I can stomach talking about, because I put myself in a position of, okay, if this wasn't Drop talking about it, can I talk about this with my homies and my friends? And if it is something we can shoot the shit about, cool, I stick around. If it isn't, I drop a like, I bone out. But I believe support isn't always in the form of having to believe in what it's not having to believe in what that person that you're supporting believes in necessarily, because I might not like paint, like I paint, right?
Right.
Somebody might say, okay, I'm not really into painting, but I'm like that dude. He's a cool guy. I'm gonna share the video. I'm gonna watch 30 seconds of it, share it, like it, and get on with my day. And I think we as people need to do more of that. We may not like the content. We may be good with the person. And sometimes because we are in this business realm, this entertainment realm, this podcast realm, you want to please your people. But not all the time are we going to have a subject matter that the masses like. But I think support is stronger than that. Support should come in the form of, be like, I understand why this man is going live right now. I don't like the topic. Support bone out. You know what I mean? Support doesn't mean I have to hang in the chat for 2 hours. You know.
Right. That's a fact.
Yeah.
Support come in different ways. People support in their own type of ways. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like you brought up Drop. Drop said all the time. It's a lot of people who support him hard that you don't see in the chat, but they still support him just in their own way. You know what I'm saying? And it's not
support. Support is basically, I think, based off a person's personality, and we can't just support. Like that's why I brought up the idea of somebody hitting the like button, boning out, or maybe you don't hit the like button. You don't like the content. You gave them the view. Yeah. Oh, drop live. Let me look what's going on. Oh, okay. I got something that I got to do, or something more important, or I just don't like the topic. But I got your view, and just because I don't like it, don't mean I'm gonna go upload some content that goes against what you're saying. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. So I wanted to preface the overall conversation because I wanted to get people's mind, whoever is paying attention now, I wanted to get their mind agitated in the sense that I am so bothered by the fact that people didn't really understand Ice Cube's involvement. If you listen to someone else tell you what he was doing, then you can be confused and have misconstrued information. But if you listen to the man speak, what his agenda is, on what behalf he's speaking on, what position and bipartisan avenue he's trying to reach, then I don't understand. Like there's so many people who went live talking about, Ice Cube supporting Trump. It's like, dude, don't you have to sit at the table with your enemy to get something that you want if your enemy control what you want?
That's true. That's true. This my thing about the Ice Cube thing, right? You're definitely right. Most people didn't understand what he was doing. Most people actually thought that he had a sit down with Trump face to face, but that didn't happen.
Right.
His Ice Cube people sat down with Trump people, and they talked. Actually, from what I heard, Ice Cube was reluctant of meeting with Trump because he didn't want a photo being out there and people really going crazy. Just imagine if a photo got out there, Ice Cube leaving a meeting with Trump and shit. People would have went crazy off of that.
Right.
My thing is that the media is so damn controlled, and we really need our own media.
Right.
Whether it be black people or just for people with a common goal and a common understanding. Because I don't want to just we do need something for black people, but it's more people who understand what black people is pushing for, who they want to be a part of the movement. So I feel like if people want to be a part of it, then allow them to support it.
Okay, look, I got a great point. I got a great point to make, right? I'm gonna ask you a question, Gears. You might not have a definitive answer, and I think I would appreciate you not having a definitive answer. Who's your favorite player, Jordan, Kobe, or no? Not who's your favorite. Who is the best player of all time? If you had to choose between Kobe, Jordan, and LeBron.
Well, my best player, right? Because I feel the whole best player and greatest player is all based on who you like. Is it's your opinion. There's no definitive answer.
It's
but mine's personally is Kobe. That's my favorite player of all time, and I feel like he the greatest. You know what I'm saying? That's who I mimic my game behind. Even though Kobe is his game is mimicked behind Jordan. You know, he kind of took Jordan game to his
Yeah.
level. You know what I'm saying? But
Okay.
yeah,
Now, so here's my take on it.
Chris Storms was good, bro. And thank you for sharing, Chasing Truth.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chasing. Okay, now here's my opinion. I'm a basketball, some people call themselves a savant and some people don't even know the term, but I think only if you are in that realm you understand. I'm a basketball savant, but I am a LA native. So I am biased. I'm going to be honest, I'm biased. So if my player and somebody else is in the argument, I'm gonna go with my player just off of geographic because since he's in the argument, we can't be too far away, right?
Right.
So I'm gonna go with my heart. My favorite player of all time is Magic, and the reason why Magic is my favorite player is because I don't care how tall you are or how good you can pass. You can never put those two combinations together and get the results that he got. Jordan's game can be mimicked. Maybe not to the extent that Jordan was, i.e. Kobe. LeBron James' game is a little bit of everybody. And I think what sets his game apart is his physical attributes, something he could not control, but he can, obviously work on. My favorite player to watch of all time was Kobe. So my favorite player, I think, of all time was Magic. My favorite player that I grew up on, same age, everything, is Kobe. Best player ever, MJ. Peak player, top, bottom, offense, defense, the way it looked when he was doing it, the eye test, the numbers. Greatest player because of the longevity and the consistency is LeBron. And to me, what I try to teach my son is the difference between certain words. Certain words that are similar but have a very vast difference in meaning. Best and great are different. I think Jordan is better than LeBron James. I think LeBron James's career will be greater when it's all said and done. I take that analogy and then I apply it to politics. Then I apply it to a black movement. Then I apply it to anything that it involves black people where we have an opinion. My problem is this. We don't appreciate greatness, just like we don't appreciate a person going out of their way, putting everybody on their back in the sense of what they're talking about and saying, this is what I want for black people. Let's all get behind this idea because it's what's relevant right now and say, okay, let's get the funding that we're talking about. And then as people together, we come together and talk about how we will disperse or allocate this money. And I feel like I only think the parallel comes in this. If you bring up something that is relevant for all of us, whether it's sports, whether it's money, whether it's, we have so many opinions. And I don't think that we should split hairs when it comes to certain things that we need. We should split them after we get them to decide how we're going to share them or how we're going to, you know what I'm saying? How we're going to spread those things.
Yeah.
And I think fundamentally that is the number one thing that holds people of African-American descent back is because we have too many ideas on one subject. And it's hard for us to move forward as a group of people because left is going to go right and right is going to go left. Somebody's going to always have some opposing opinion, if you will.
Exactly.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, and it seems like we always get stuck on first we lay out everybody ideas on the line, and then when somebody have a disagreement, you get stuck on a disagreement instead of trying to find resolution on both sides where, you know what I'm saying, it's common ground on both sides. But we get stuck on a disagreement and going back and forth about dumb shit. What's going on, Remy?
Hey.
What do you do, Wax Dog?
Oh, see where I got some of my information from is just paying attention, right? For instance, You got people that support you. You got people that rock with you. You got people that like you. No matter what, when you go live, they're gonna come with you. If you speak on something political, something religious, something maybe in the sexual preference arena, education, reparations, there's about 5 or 6, maybe 10 if you dive deep, issues that affect us all, even if it doesn't affect us directly, that we split hairs with, right? I've been listening for a long time, and I like to call myself an educated person because I like to do research. I literally love to hear what people have to say and then go research that shit and give it validity or expand my own mind based on what I heard. So now I know about this, now I know about this. I just hate the fact that we can't come together, solidified, unified as a group of people on 2 or 3 things that mean the most to us as people, so that we can get traction and then reaction and then something that we can work with based on people taking us serious as a group of people. There's always this fucking divide. And I love opinions because I have one, and I hate opinions, just like I love freedom and I hate freedom. And I don't want to be a judge in it, and it's because I feel like some people take freedom for granted and some people take their opinions for granted. People just speak just because some shit pops in their head. They don't really analyze what the fuck they're talking about. And I think that's part of our problem collectively as a group of people.
That's a fact. And let me get back to my other point before I forget it about us needing our own media, right? Because this is what I thought. What's going on, Drop?
I love it. Drippy.
So most people ain't never heard about the contract with Black America until it was in the media that they was pushing the narrative that Ice Cube was doing business with Trump. So most people ain't know about it. But Ice Cube, I don't know when he first drafted this contract, but when I look back, it seemed like he been on it for a couple months now.
Okay, I see. That's I love that you said that, because when my brother has to speculate or has a question, and I've done my due diligence, which I think is 2 very important words. One of them is due diligence, and one is discretion. Mm-hmm. We have to not just listen. We have to be in a position to go research, man, and gather information. Even if you don't share it, just become abreast of what's going on around you. But the idea for me is like, stop thinking and start knowing. You get what I'm saying?
Yep, you're right.
Yeah, you're right. But I love it. I love the fact that you said that we need our own media. And I think going deeper than that, a particular word, even though it's media, would be we need our own narrative. A narrative that most support, because we know that it's not going to be all, but we need a narrative that most support and that quote unquote in opposition or the people on the other side of the fence believe and actually see as something that is important not only to them, because a Black or African American problem and or struggle is an American problem and or struggle.
Right. Yeah, the problem is this was a surprise to most people. They ain't hear about it. But if we had our own media, people would have already known about this. It wouldn't have been a surprise to most people, right? So that's why I say we need our own media. We shouldn't be hearing about something that concerns us from fucking CNN, Fox News, ABC, NBC, all that. You know what I'm saying? We need to hear from our own people, especially some again that deals specifically with Black people. We should have been heard about this. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's a major problem right there, because that's really where all the uproar come from. That it basically came out of nowhere for most people. But if we would have been up to date on the information coming from our own people, we had a real source to where our people know to go for information. You know what I'm saying? Like, on the TV, right? Because most people,
Yeah.
you know, they turn it on the TV. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Of course, we in the age of social media and all that. So
Yeah.
to
On
get
your cell phone.
yeah, we need to get somewhere, you know, we know where to go for our information, real information. And it's hard
My,
nowadays because, you
yeah.
know, everybody is suspicious of fake news and all that. So we need a legit news source for our people.
Absolutely. Y'all hit that like button on y'all way in, man. Support the brother. One thing that is the easiest thing you could do to support a brother in the community or in this type of atmosphere is hit that fucking like button, even if you stay for 15 minutes.
Facts. I like button.
Here's the dichotomy. I believe each group of people, not that I believe it, who gives a fuck what I believe, but what I've seen is each strong group of people are a group of people that work together, heritage-wise, history-wise, racially, if you want to go there, and then they commune when they need to with other races of people in order for them to keep their motor going. Mexicans, white people, Asians, they all right here on this American soil. Arabic people, things of that nature. So like what I'm concerned with is like every time a black man gets a business that is profitable or is foreseen as something that can be profitable, it gets taken away from us by monetary means. BET was the voice. BET started in the fucking basement, started with $20,000. Mr. Johnson said 60 million sounds really good for something I invested 20 million in. You know, we talk about Rock Nation, we talk about Rockefeller, we talk about all of the substantial businesses that get to a particular level. I'm not saying they're greedy, but I'm also saying the people on the other side don't want us to reach a particular level. They'll offer an amount of money that says, here, take your money individual and be quiet as a black man, i.e. Jordan. There's a lot of, you know, okay, today's climate, yeah, there's a lot of people who speaking out. But for the most part, our black profitable businesses either go under or get sold and taken from under us. And then now BT is ran by a group of white folks.
Yeah, it's Viacom. It sold out to Viacom, you know, to another big corporation. But yeah, you gotta. But then again, you gotta realize
I'm
that.
gonna be right back.
All right, you gotta realize that all black people ain't thinking about the black people at the bottom. You know, they thinking about themselves and whoever in they circle. You know, so take the BT, the dude who was running that. He took his money and got up out of there. You know, he wasn't really worried about keeping the first black entertainment, first black television channel in the possession of black people. He was worried about his money, you know. And everybody, when you at the top like that, you dealing with some high level people. You know what I'm saying? So ain't no telling if, like I said, I got the, you know, people call it conspiracy theories, mind, all that shit. That's what I got. You know what I'm saying? So who's to say that? Let me drop this link again for him. Who's to say that it wasn't prearranged that, you know, he'll own it for a certain amount of time and then, you know, we're gonna buy you out type shit. You never know. You know, that could have been in the deal from the get-go. You never know. Let me read some of these comments though. What's good, controller? Three-edged sword. Good to see you here, bro. I think that's why people giving Q so much problem because black people hate on something they don't know. Definitely something that comes with leadership and power. That's a fact. A lot of people don't. Everybody want to be self-made, want to be a boss, all that. So a lot of people who ain't never been in a position to be a boss want to act like they're a boss. But I feel like another thing is that we got to realize that people are loyal to their party, right? So you see a lot of, I said this on somebody else's panel, but you see a lot of black Democrats, people who are Democrats and are black. You got to realize this shit came less than a month before the election. So really, it's going, just off of that, it's going to stir a lot of shit up. You know what I'm saying? And, you see what came after that. You got Diddy out here and, who else out here? But Diddy, now he done basically playing devil's advocate and hopped on the other side, and now we got 50 Cent. He then came and openly endorsed Trump. So I feel like there's a lot of shit. I don't know. I feel like things happen for a reason. That's why I brought up us having our own media, because I feel like it's no coincidence that all this hit mainstream news less than a month before the election. Is I feel like it was done to shake shit up, to stir up the black people and get them going at each other, and just more divide and conquer tactics. You know what I'm saying? Rem, you got anything you want to add?
Not at the moment. I'm just listening.
All right. Ice Cube had a nice dialogue about how he went to both parties, who he worked with on the plan, and what made him do it. Ice Cube will never be canceled. He not worried about that at all. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Ice Cube ain't worried about being canceled. Ice Cube been rich since the goddamn 80s and 90s. You know what I'm saying? He not, I ain't gonna say it like he don't give a fuck about us, but if it was ever came down to that with black people as a whole, because that's the thing too, right? A lot of black people is behind Ice Cube. But if Ice Cube was ever in a predicament where he felt like black people, the majority of black people was trying to cancel him off of this shit, he'd be like, shit, I'm just real life going business with the Republicans, and they gonna fill my pockets like they've been doing since the 80s. That's how I feel about that. You know what I'm saying? Ice Cube been in Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? He been in business with these people. Ice Cube, he been, one of his business partners is close friends with somebody who is connected with Trump. So it is a little connection there. It's not a direct connection, but it's an indirect connection between Trump and Ice Cube. So all these people been getting money together, you know what I'm saying? But Ice Cube went from fuck the police to book him. Hell no. Yeah, Babylon is definitely falling. That's why I feel like it's gonna pop off after this election. It's definitely gonna pop off.
My bad, bro.
Oh, you good? Trump will win. He is the anti-right. That's what I'm leaning towards, because me, like I said, I got the mind of a quote unquote conspiracy theorist, right? So I feel everything is all pre-planned, it's all predetermined. It's a selection, not an election. So I feel like, I was leaning.
Wait a minute, Gears, you saying way too much in a little bit of time. It's it's a selection, not an election. And what people don't understand about that, you got to get, boy, let me tell you, you can't even have a conversation with your woman, your best friend, or your mama without somebody getting mad if we talk politics. Why is that? And that's rhetorical. I have one fundamental question to ask you. Well, it's two questions in one. What has Trump done that would make me get up and go vote for him? What has Biden done? And mind you, Biden has 50 years in politics. If you would literally have to go research and dig, which isn't something that lives amongst us, obviously, if he has to go dig about what he's done, what has Biden done for me to get up and go put my vote in for him? And I'm not even a person that's like gonna tell people don't vote, it ain't worth it. I'm telling you why. I'm closer to choosing not to vote this year because, oh, people have fought for the right for you to vote. Okay, yeah, now I have the right to vote. Now I can choose to vote or not. They didn't fight for your right to absolutely have to cast a ballot. They fought for the right for you to have the opportunity, for you to have the choice. You get what I'm saying?
Right, exactly. That's a fact. That's a fact. You right. A lot of people that's repeated a lot, by our people that our ancestors died for the right to vote, and it is the right to vote, and that's your right. So you can
Yeah.
choose use it or not. But
Yeah.
it's not you're not disgracing your people if you choose not to vote, right?
And I would, like I tell people, I don't like to talk politics. I like to talk about politics because what I believe and stand for, even though we could be raised in the same house, we could be raised on the same block, and our idea of politics, not who's in office, but our idea of what politics is may vary. So you might have a different expectation than I do. I literally, since I've understood what politics was and or is, I have never had an expectation of anybody in office. Never. I don't think they hold that much weight. Do I want my son to understand how this thing works? Yeah, but I also don't want him to work for this thing in the sense that because you go cast a vote, your voice was heard. That doesn't necessarily translate. I honestly believe in my heart that our local politics have more of an influence on us, which is every 2 years. So every 2 years, you have a chance to put some people in office while somebody else got 2 more years. Okay, 2 years later, bam, we can influence change, I think, in that way that affects our actual community. But do you really think with a legislative, executive, and a judicial branch of Congress that one man, otherwise would be a dictatorship, that one man can control policies and the way that the country moves? And if you believe that, we can't have a conversation.
Right. Yeah, I'll say that's one thing I learned from school, that checks and balances and all that. But I honestly, I don't know. They feed it. They put it in our heads that the president got more power than we think they do. Really, they control. We got to realize that America is a corporation, right? And every corporation got a fucking boss, got somebody at the top. Most people don't know who
Hey,
America is, and it's
can we,
easy.
can we clarify the term boss and say face?
Yeah, face. Well,
Because
actually, I guess this person really wouldn't have a face. It is somebody who been there for a long time.
right.
America is we answer to Great Britain, United Kingdom, London. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's who we answer to, right? We the new America, right? They the old America, we the new America. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we answer to them. So that's why I feel like, I don't know. I feel like even then with the the House and the Senate and all that, I feel like even that is all controlled to a certain extent. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
if we break it down to the fine compound, right? Why are there hundreds and thousands of lobbyists and only 2 parties that actually get the benefit of these lobbyists? Why do these 2 parties, the people that represent these parties, fraternize, have lunch, have history together, 20, 30, 40-year history together? Why are the same group of people that look like me used to vote Republican because the ideas of a Republican actually mirror, back in the day, like 1800s, actually mirror the ideas of a republic. What people don't understand is we're so heavily influenced by England that we have to actually understand that our native tongue, English, is a derivative of England. And if we don't understand how words are used and are used in a deceptive way, in a sense, um, dude, let me tell you, if we used to vote Republican because Republican represented the Republic. The Republic is us. It's us. It's the people. It's the idea of the people. Democrat. If you break down the word demo, it's devil. Crassy means rule. Democrat means demon rule. And when you break down the idea of the word itself, we take bitch, for instance. Bitch don't mean what it used to mean in the 60s, 70s. You call a woman a bitch 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, maybe, you get your face slapped off. Now, females call themselves bitches, refer to each other as bitches, and don't mind being referred to as bitch as long as it's in a positive light. I still believe in the spirit of language. I still believe in the spirit of how it derives and where it comes from. And the fact that we used to be Republicans, the people that look like me used to vote Republican because it represented the Republic. Now we predominantly vote Democrat.
Right. Well,
No matter what, whoever's at the head of whatever table, I'll guarantee you they know each other personally, have lunch, they know each other's kids' names, they know private shit about each other. It's all a fucking game, dude. And
yeah.
I think it's a game just to allow the people to feel like they're involved in democracy. That's it.
It's always, I feel like it's always been a show. I'm glad you brought that up because I want to ask everybody. It's a well-known fact that black people, the majority of black people used to vote Republican. I'm gonna ask, do anybody know why we used to vote Republican? Like the real details of why we used to vote Republican? All skin folks and kin folks. Those were aboriginals that cover up the indigenous on American soil. Nobody talking about the genocide though. That's a fact.
Ooh, and her second comment. Sometimes we gotta dumb down to communicate in a mass group or amongst our people or amongst people in general. The term black, you have to understand, is a brand new term. That is the newest term to refer to people of color. And it is a very divisive term and it's a segregative term. It's a term that separates black from white. The only positive black thing is money. When money is in a black, money is positive. Then you have to look at even that history. When money is in the black, the first fucking real money on American soil was black people. That's why when money's in the black, money's positive. Every other black reference is negative, night, dark, bad, this, that. We're at a crossroads as to what to refer to ourselves by, because we don't actually have an actual country that accepts us. The people that are in the middle, the people of African descent that are American blood. Americans, which is a fucking melting pot of everything in the fucking world, feels like America is white. Black people don't feel like they have a home in America. Africans don't feel like African Americans are true African people. We're the only people in the fucking world. We're the only people that refer to white people as white people. White people don't refer to themselves as that. They refer to themselves as a nationality. French, English, Dutch, da 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 da. We're the only people that are considered a fucking color, dude. If you really get inside of it, white people only call themselves white when they're in opposition to black. Outside of that, they refer to themselves as a nationality. What nationality are we?
American.
Bottom line. But there's always this but, and there's always going to be this group of people that have Moorish blood that understand that there was African artifacts here on this country before the idea of Jamestown in 1619 and all that. There's some people who were here before the French and the British and things like that that look like me. They don't call this America. But at the end of the day, because this is where we were born. We are African Americans, blood-wise African, born-wise American. But at the end of the day, we're the only group of people collectively who hasn't accepted this as a country and or haven't been accepted as participants of this country, if you will.
Right, and that's crazy because it's funny. A lot of people don't like the African American. A lot of people don't like the black term. You know what I'm saying? And it's because a lot of people feel, well, that black people was here. We was already here. We was everywhere. You know what I'm saying? We was down in what's known today as South America and Central America. We was down there. We was in up here, up north, North America. We was everywhere. Black people, we was the native. A lot of people don't like the African American because it they feel it takes away from our native history. You know, a lot of people disagree. It's man, black people got we always got a war between ourselves. So you got the people who feel that the slave trade story is false, is made up. We didn't come from Africa. That we was the majority of us was all already here. And then you got the people who believe in both, that we was brought over from Africa and we was native to this land already.
You know what I believe, Gary? I believe, and I always like to preface things with my belief doesn't really mean nothing in the scheme of things because there's millions of people who have a right to their own belief that may be different than mine. But I personally believe all of it is true. I don't believe anything is 100% factual. But I believe a little bit of all that is facts. They can't explain the artifacts that were here before industrial times, before Americanized times. They also can't explain the resilience of a people. You take the strong stock, that strong stock lives and thus has produced the people that look like me. They also don't take into account that the kings of Africa at that time sold, not even sold, but they allowed, I believe some were sold, fuck it. But I also believe that some were allowed to come because there was a document that was signed between the English and the Africans that they're going to come to this new country and use the Africans as labor. The English or British or whatever more so were the minds behind it, whereas the people of color, Black, African, or whatever, were going to be the physicality behind it, building the structures. The idea was a partnership. What happened was a lot of those people never returned home. First of all, a lot of them never made it to America. When people really dig deep into the history of it, I don't look at white people at the beginning as bad, I think, as the narrative is because if you look at the slave trade, take out the word slave, put in the word people, and when you say that term, somebody had to give something in order to get something back. It wasn't the slave taken. It wasn't the slave stolen. It wasn't the slave anything but the slave trade. So we're going to key in on the word trade. Trade automatically means I got something for what I gave you.
What's up, 3S Sword?
You get what I'm saying?
Yep, I hear you. I hear you.
So at the end of the day, I think all of it is the truth, and none of it. Some of it was understandable, which it doesn't matter if it was wrong or right, because that's an emotional, very specific perspective opinion. But I believe some of it made sense, and I believe some of it was fucked up, and I think it just got out of control. But to say, which is funny, that Egypt is almost not even referred to as a place in Africa. Egypt is in Africa, is on the very edge, it's next to the water. That's not where the slaves were taken from. The slaves were taken from the desert-like areas, the Saharas, The places where they felt like exchanging these slaves and being able to bring their people back. Damn. Hold on real quick. And being able to bring their people back and exchange that for something substantial. Why else would there be the term slave trade if people that look like me and darker weren't trading something for something by sending their people over?
Yeah, that's a good point. They definitely
Hey, what's good, everybody? I didn't want to interrupt.
no, you good. What's going on, 3S? So I appreciate you for hitting the link.
I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you. You kind of low.
Nice and clear.
Anything you want to add to the conversation?
Well, I was about to throw in some of my thoughts, but I just realized I have a horse outside of its fence, and I think I might have to go deal with that first before I.
Yeah, you probably want to get on that, huh?
We'll get her done and her percent back.
I just wanted to throw a quick thought because you guys keep talking about conspiracies. I appreciate minds that think like that. But the whole idea of the selection and whatnot, I think there's one resounding connection between that idea of who does the selections and who's in power and who's not, and it actually comes down to one single organization, to be honest, at least in my opinion. I sincerely think that the Jesuits are at the complete center of all of it.
And based on my research, I would definitely
Jesuit trained. If you look at Kamala Harris, she is Jesuit trained. If you look at Donald Trump, he went to Fordham University, which is a Jesuit school. Mike Pence, Jesuit.
Really quick, speaker. Ahead. Can you in layman's term tell the chat what Jesuits is in 4 letters?
In 4 letters.
Isn't it Jews?
The military. They've been around for about 460 years. They are the military intelligence arm of the Vatican.
Okay. I'm gonna buy that with. I'm gonna buy that with the rest of the money that I own. Seriously.
Needless to say, like the number of people that you find that are Jesuit connected to a lot of the stuff that's going on in government, we have a Jesuit in every position of power, basically. And today, there's a lady whose father is a Jesuit who was selected as our newest Supreme Court nominee.
Exactly.
Which, with her nomination, that gives a 6-3 supermajority, Catholic supermajority.
So will we call that as speculative people?
Go with your question.
I'm just saying, to add on, you can continue. Will we call that a sign, in a sense, or a symbol, if you will?
I would take it as evidence that they are very deep in controlling the many aspects of our government and that their influence over that, from the Vatican to the Jesuits throughout the different branches of government, very much represents a dark time ahead for the United States.
Yeah. And
sword not.
I could actually. I was just going to go on to tie it back to the assassination of Abraham Lincoln.
Thank you, because sword. Not to cut you off right quick, but Gears asked the question.
Go ahead.
Right. And I want to get
Gears, back. And this brings it back full circle, bro. So I'm going to say this and then I'm going to be quiet, Sword. But Gears asked the question about when did Black people stop voting for Republicans? And I put, yes, we stopped. We began during the Reconstruction era, which would have been Abraham Lincoln. We stopped. when John F. Kennedy became president. Now, when you look at both of the people that I just named as presidents, what do Abraham Lincoln and John F. Kennedy both have in common?
Democrat.
Civil right.
No, they were both
Oh.
assassinated.
Oh, both
So-
assassinated.
Yeah.
So let's
Correct.
go back to Sword, and then we'll pick up from there. Like, I'll pick up from where he's gonna leave off. I just wanted to bring back what Gear said. There's a reason both of these presidents were assassinated, and we'll pick that up later on.
Is it
No,
on
I'm really happy you said that. You bring up a great point too.
Gears,
So
Sword. Yeah, go ahead, bro.
So the assassination of Abraham Lincoln came at the end of the Civil War, but that also came just shortly after what was titled the Citizens of Error that was produced by that. Just I think a month or two or a few months before the death of Abraham Lincoln, which listed out in fine point all the reasons that Abraham Lincoln was evil and abolishing slavery was bad and he was going against the Bible, and like it was this full-on thing. And then several months later, John Wilkes Booth shoots Abraham Lincoln. However,
right.
one of the coadjutors with John Wilkes Booth, his name was John Surratt. John Surratt was a Jesuit who escaped and became one of the papal royal guards in the Vatican.
Mm.
And it was shortly after that, and the people connected to that same organization were the same ones who were part of the Golden Dawn, who evolved into the KKK, which started all of their attacks to undo all the good that the Reconstruction period did, bringing black people into voting and trying to raise them up to a higher class. The KKK birthed very much from the same movement and same people tied to John Wilkes Booth and John Surratt, and that was very much Jesuit mentality and controlled. So
let me ask you on the surface. On the surface, do you think the ideas that they had as presidents, because if you think about the correlation, I don't think it's a conspiracy anymore as to those two individuals, the way they were killed, who they were killed by, why they were killed, and what they stood for. That all has a correlation, because no other presidents besides, I would say maybe, no other presidents besides those two in those times stood for what they stood for. Do you think on the surface level, to be able to talk to somebody else and not go that deep, can you say that race and inclusion, if you will, had something to do with the fact that those two presidents aren't here anymore? Swart? Gear, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm trying to see if I think he probably in a bad place right now because he was early. Yeah, he just dropped off. I figured he was about to drop off.
So you feel my question though, like, because I'm a black man, so I am going to have a biased approach and or opinion of certain things that I see, and I strongly believe that Lincoln and Kennedy's death mirrored each other because they pretty much was the same fucking person in different times.
Yeah, I would agree. Some people argue that Abraham Lincoln wasn't necessarily against slavery and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, my bad. Hey, it's like I have no life whatsoever, but it seems like every time I hop on the StreamYard, everybody in my life wants to call. Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's all good.
Good.
Yeah, this how I see let me get back to my question, right? So why did black people stop voting Republican? I didn't know the answer to this, and I started digging into it a little bit. And from what I see is, hold on, here go 3S sword came back. All right, and from what I seen, why black people stopped voting Republican, right? So really, black people started voting. We didn't have the right to vote until back in the late 17th century. So I believe we got the right to vote in like 1870 or somewhere around there.
Well, Gears, it depends on Gears. Hold for one moment. It depends on what part of history you believe, because prior the Civil War, Like if we go back to like Jamestown and earlier, you
Yeah.
had black politicians due to the fact that black people were here before white people were. So you had black congressmen before the Civil War. You had black senators before the Civil War. The
Yeah.
issue is and what I love that Sword said is after World War II, there was a constituted effort to whitewash civilization. I.e., when I go to my godparents' home country in Germany, Mary is still black in their churches. Jesus is still black in their churches.
Oh, if you don't talk to them,
A lot of people in Europe don't know the whitewash history we were taught in America. So to
yeah.
bring up another thing that you said, I always equate slavery to this. If white people love to build monuments about how powerful they were, where in the fuck are all the slave ships? Am I saying that some of us didn't come from Africa? No. But when you have to travel 30 days on a boat, shackled next to a motherfucker with urine and feces, no
Shit,
food
throw up.
whatsoever,
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
how many people do you think made it across that voyage called the Middle Passage? Who
I'm gonna
taught
say
us
about
about the Middle
20%.
Passage? So one thing
Right.
that one thing I tell my family to do, not my family that stayed in the South, my family that moved north, do your research on the $5 Indian. After
Due
the Civil
diligence.
War,
Yep.
after the Civil War, Congress enacted a bill called a $5 Indian, where
Yes,
our
sir.
European brothers and sisters could pay $5 and become Native American to get
Woo,
access to land
hey,
due
Jason,
to the Trail of Tears. I'm sorry.
Jason. I don't mean to cut you off, but you're flowing too good. You're flowing too good. Real quick. At that same time, when they divided up America and gave the Indians land, they allowed for people of India, not Indian, English and British descent, which we call white people today. They allowed for white people to call themselves Indian, therefore infiltrating parts of the land. Because if you really think about it,
Bro,
there's half of this land should be in Indian control.
bro,
Literally.
the only thing I disagree with you with is your first statement. How in the fuck are you gonna tell my people they get this part of the land when they had all the land?
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So my
Look,
only
okay, I'm
issue
with
with
you
that
there.
statement is, and see,
I'm
this
with
is
you.
where look, and one thing, because see, I'm not African American, and shout out to the young lady, shout out to the woman Namaste in your chat.
Yeah,
She knows her history. If you were born
absolutely.
in South Carolina like I was, let me tell you what you did ancestor worship like I did. And
Talk to
ancestor
me.
worship means nothing to me but sitting around your grandparents listening to stories. My great grandma wasn't no slave. She was a sharecropper. What that meant is she owned her land. People
Uh,
came over here and she leased her land out to them. But because history was whitewashed, a lot of us believe that sharecroppers were slaves. They got permission that
yeah,
they could grow on another man's land. Where
yeah.
my ancestors went wrong is my ancestors believed that this land was no man's land. It was every
Mhm.
man's land. Do you understand what I mean by that? So
Yeah,
treaties
yeah.
and borders and like states and municipalities did not make sense to our people because our people believe that this earth is God's earth. Not no
Yeah.
Jesus, not no white Jesus, but the big God, the
Talk
one
to him.
true God. You understand?
Talk
So I'm
to
gonna
him.
pause on that, bro, and let y'all talk. I'm sorry. I
Okay.
get irritated when
No,
I
no, no.
hear
I
people
love it. You
because
get
see
irritated.
where we missed out on reparations is, and
Uh-huh.
my grandma and my parents told me we missed out when they gave our fake Native American brothers and sisters them casinos. That's when we should have been screaming about reparations. So our
But you
reparations have
understand
already
something?
been given to us. We just didn't do nothing about the shit
Right.
because we listening to Jesse fucking Jackson. You know what I mean?
Right. I have to say something as a black man though. And
My
you know
bad,
what?
pops.
I wanna applaud you. I don't give a fuck what your race is. Because you're not black and you have that education and that stance, which to me is a bipartisan, just an educational truth. I applaud you for speaking your truth.
Sean,
And
listen, this is an issue
May
that
I?
I come up with a lot of people.
yep.
When you a Native American, when you indigenous like I am, you don't
Mm-hmm.
believe in racism. So
Absolutely.
we got black people out here that don't like our white brothers and sisters. But when this
Yeah.
shit pop off, that's gonna pop off. Let me tell you who I trust gonna ride with me. I don't trust that my African American people gonna pick these guns up and these bows and arrows that me and my family train on and ride with me. I know these
Yeah.
rednecks around me gonna ride with me. So at the
Well,
end of the day, I'm Native American because Native
yeah,
American don't have a color. It's
yes,
blonde hair, blue eyed Native Americans, just like it's blonde hair, blue eyed Africans. So the
yes,
first thing we need to do is quit being divisive about racism because the way these elitists split us, they split us by color. And it ain't no black or
absolutely.
white, it's rich or poor,
You,
y'all. Once y'all realize it's rich or
yes,
poor, y'all will
yes.
quit because
And
Jay-Z and Beyonce ain't no different to me than Bill Gates is. You understand?
right. At the end of the day, we need to stop living off of what's on our skin and start living off what's on our head. And I know we've
Facts.
heard it, we've said it, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I have been robbed, I've been ridiculed, I have been put down by more people that look like me than any other race.
That's
It's,
right,
it's
and
at
that's
the
Hey,
why.
end,
That's
I'm
why
a human. Go
oh,
ahead, Gary. Go
no,
ahead, Gary.
I want to say something to piggyback off what Jason said. That's why I said earlier about this contract with Black America and all that.
Mhm.
I said we need our own media, but it don't necessarily need to just be a black media. It need to be anybody who down with who's like minded and
Yes.
and see what we fighting for. You
You
know?
know what
facts.
you actually are speaking to is the fact that I've heard a lot of people say that black people can't be racist. Racism is a machine. Usually when black people come up, they hire everybody. They when black people are in position of power and they have that freedom to just be a business owner or a person to help out, they usually expand and try to help everybody. A black issue is an American issue. And
Yeah.
I think that's where everything is lost in translation. I don't
Two
want to be better than you. I want to
two
be equal to
two
you.
quick
I
things.
want to be on
Two
the
quick
side
things,
of
my
you.
brother. Two quick things. Um, I'm gonna say this about Ice Cube. Now, what the average person doesn't realize because of lack of research and lack of knowledge. So I don't blame them. They in the 85%, right? So
Yes,
I'm
sir.
not mad at them. I'm in the 5%, right? Our media is in the 10%. So
Yes,
what our
sir.
media does is our media takes Ice Cube and tries to make us cancel him. Let me tell you what Ice Cube did. What the fuck is the difference between what Ice Cube did and what every major corporation does? Ice Cube brought an issue to both parties. Because let me tell you what these lobbyists do. They give the money to the Democrats, they give the money to the Republicans. So whoever the fuck wins, they win. So what Ice Cube did is nothing more than learned how to play the game. Why are we
Yes.
mad at Ice Cube for playing the same game that corporate America been playing for since 1963?
But
Why are
Jason,
we
can we
mad
go
at that?
deeper than that? And
Still
can we give the
wrong.
man some credit? Can we give the man some credit and not call it a game? What I honestly, and I'm 100% behind you, but I just want to refer to it as something different to
No, it's
give
cool,
this
bro.
man some credit. And the only reason I'm saying this is at the end of the day, the issue that he has is the issue that's been going on for not only 400 years, 100 years, 40 years, however you want to put it. I'm not going to ridicule nobody who stands up and says, I'm going to take time out of my life to speak to something that doesn't necessarily influence or reflect my personal life, but it influences and reflects on my people.
Right.
Why would somebody push a live button to cut this man down before they actually hear the words that's coming out of his mouth and understand that he took his issue to both tables and cross-reference to see who had the best idea that aligned with his idea, that is an idea that we all should get behind?
Sean, he didn't even do that. See, here's the
May
thing.
I?
Here's the thing that people miss. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, no. I just wanted to throw a thought in there because I mean,
Please, bro. That's what we here for.
Well, I had to get the horse in, so I just got disconnected from you, so I didn't get to answer your question earlier. But I I think regardless of who the person is, if it's 50 Cent or whatever, to me, I was kind of laughing about it because it almost seems like just another case of rich people getting poor people to protect the rich people's money. I mean,
Exactly.
if the reason to vote for one side or the other is because you're rich and you don't want to be overtaxed, like why do we have tens of thousands of people storming the streets to protect those people's money? They're like they're the smallest group of people in the
Same.
country, and
Same.
everybody's marching to protect their money. Like it doesn't make sense. I
Yes.
even when I was in the army, I never made a point when like my tax level would have been anything close to $400,000 a year. I
Yes.
mean, I was like I barely made a tenth of that when I was in. So, like, I'm never gonna hit
Right.
that tax bracket.
I
Bro,
love your point.
There,
I love
you
your
said
point,
something.
but
I wanted to say something
but,
historically, I was thinking about. You were talking about the slave ships and whatnot, and how many of them died and whatnot. And there are some statistics that said that 1 in 8 per ship died.
exactly.
And in general, and this was something that was a standard of ancient Greece, and ancient Greece had a slave trade that was far less than what it was here in the United
Right.
yeah.
States. So we
See,
made
and
Greece look
sword,
very small in comparison. Go ahead.
and the issue is the slavery that happened in the Western Hemisphere was totally different than the slavery that was happening amongst the world. That's what we don't understand. Slavery, listen, if you want me to get involved in a slavery
Oh yeah, I
conversation,
mean, like
why
if
the
you want to
fuck does
talk like the
slavery still exists right now? Like,
oh,
Mm-hmm.
guys,
absolutely.
guys,
Oh yeah.
my
Oh
my
yeah.
family and I own 5 homes. If we don't pay the taxes on these 5 homes, the government takes it. That's slavery. Everybody that's listening to me right now, that you work a job,
Mm-hmm.
you are a slave. The
And
only
let's not
difference
talk
All of
about the
between that,
those,
prison. Let's
every
not talk
single
about
one of
prison.
those. Um, I
bro,
was
no,
just
no,
gonna
no. I
say.
left prison out because that's obviously
Right.
slavery.
Or
Like,
third world
I,
countries.
I was just gonna say
yeah.
all those poor girls that were trafficked into Jeffrey Epstein's island. That's slavery.
Woo!
Sword, what you were talking about today on Choose Live, it is a bro. I spent the last 4 hours doing research about that, right? That
Good man.
and
Good
and and
man.
and, and here's the crazy thing, like, and I'm gonna tie this back into why I believe that Abraham Lincoln and JFK got assassinated. They
Awesome.
were both made away. This shadow government that we're talking about now existed
Mm.
in 1860.
Yes,
Like,
sir.
if you go back and you listen to what JFK was saying, JFK wanted to get rid of the Federal Reserve and he wanted to
Mm-hmm.
get rid of the CIA. And as soon as he
Mm-hmm.
said that, let me tell you what his vice
Bam.
president did. Hey,
I love
let me tell
educated
you what
people.
his vice president did.
Talk to me.
LBJ, Lyndon Baines Johnson was like, yo, this nigga got to go.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I hate to be on
See,
some hood shit. I hate to be on some hood shit and say nigga, but they was like, this nigga got to go. We got to dome this nigga because he trying. Look, we took him downstairs and showed him the basement, and he want to tell the people about the basement. Now,
Exactly.
let me tell y'all
but
something that got me in trouble on another live. They asked me on the last. It was a question asked on the last debate they had about what you want your candidates to talk about. I said I want them to talk about the extraterrestrials.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers looked at me like I was crazy when I said, "Yeah, what? Have y'all not read Behold a Pale Horse by William Cooper? It's been
it's on my
aliens in
shelf.
this mother sword. It's been aliens in this motherfucker since Eisenhower, bro. So until we start talking about this 5G technology and realize where it's coming from, like, yo, I stay quiet on YouTube most of the time. But shout out to
Well,
y'all. Let
there's
me be cool.
the two things that you said about JFK being assassinated, the CIA and Federal Reserve. Both of those things are directly controlled by the Vatican. It's very, very well known that the CIA is also known as the Catholic Intelligence Agency because 80% of the CIA are Catholics. And the main way to get yourself through the CIA is to be Catholic. You get up in the higher echelons very, very quick being Catholic in there. And as it turns out, this CNN ends up being also colloquially known as the Catholic News Network because of how pro-Catholic it is and controlled by the same organizations. If we move
All
over to
true.
the Federal Reserve, if we move over to the Federal Reserve, all I have to do is mention the Knights of Malta. The Knights of Malta are
Wow.
the treasurers of the Vatican Bank. They control the Vatican Bank, but
Mm-hmm.
they're the ones who control every aspect of the Federal Reserve. So through the
Exactly.
Federal Reserve, the Knights of Malta control uh, the United States in the Vatican, and through the Jesuits, they control the intelligence and the military aspect of it.
Yeah.
Now, the Illuminati ends up being the religious side of it, which is where it ties into like Hollywood and stuff like that.
Right.
Those
Right.
are the three primary arms of the Vatican.
And so one thing that we were talking about on Chasing Truth Live, and with regards to JE, right? And one thing I was saying to Gears is when you get into these levels and these degrees that the Jesuits have, it's like, so there's 4 of us talking right now, right? So let's say Jason and Sword are level 3. Sean is level 4, and Gears, you're level 5. Jason and Sword know less than Sean. Sean knows less than you, and you know less than all of us. But the level above you, Gears, you know nothing about. So the reason it's going to be hard to expose this is because the levels and the degrees they deal with, whether you want to call it Masonic or whatever, the whole code to the Jesuits is if you're not on this level, you don't know.
You are out of the know. Absolutely.
Biblical connection.
It's like the gang mentality upside down. Like if we was all selling dope, I could tell on Gears because Gears is the kingpin. But if you flip that paradigm, I can't tell on Gears because I don't know who the fuck Gears is.
I don't.
You know what I mean?
You don't even know that he exists in a sense.
Don't even know he exists, bro.
Because you don't know what he represents. You don't know about what he represents. You don't even know that exists.
So it's like when the whole world looks at Jeffrey Epstein, I look at him like, oh, you poor little patsy. From the time you were born, Ghislaine and her dad fucking groomed you to take the fall for what they were really doing. You have no clue.
They're both taking the fall.
You couldn't tell on Jeffrey Epstein couldn't tell on anybody if he wanted to.
No, absolutely not. Dude, listen. I didn't want to go. I didn't want to go there
because the most watered down version.
I didn't want to go there because I didn't know if it fit the narrative. But let me tell you, when you guys were speaking about the Jesuit, when that conversation first came up, the first 2 names that popped in my head was Epstein and Weinstein. And if 100 people are guilty of something, those 99 people would rather sacrifice that one to keep the secret versus, you know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, like I never expected Jeffrey Epstein to speak to us and tell us the truth, because his truth would put so many people under the fire. Like, you know what I mean? Like we have our ideas.
Right.
But we're never going to let that man speak.
For everybody to take the fall. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Never
the 2 of them being scapegoated. The 2 of them being scapegoated means their entire organization went underground.
Right. There you go.
Their entire it didn't disappear or stop it in any sense of the idea, like in any way. You said something that we brought it up in the Chasing Truth. The Terramar on page 372 of the deposition. You need to look it up. That was released today. Page 372. There's questions about Ghislaine Maxwell's citizenship, and she says she's an American citizen. She's got British citizenship. She's also French, but she said she's a citizen of a place called Terramar, which doesn't exist on planet Earth. Terramar is related to the Terramar Project, which is an organization she started, I think, in 2013 with another Oxford laureate and a whole bunch of other rich fucking people. But the whole thing was to create an international organization in the oceans of the water that are not under the judiciary control.
Sword, is that the thing that she did the TED Talk about?
I think it is the thing she did the TED Talk about.
Sean, she did a TED Talk about it, but it was topical. It wasn't like, of course, she didn't tell you what was really going on.
What she did was filling in the front company for it. The whole company was, as a front company, was an activist organization that ended up being a way for rich people to do their secret human trafficking in areas of the world where police have no jurisdiction.
Right.
Yo,
and the Clinton Global Initiative is intimately tied to the same organization.
Every time I hear the word Clinton, I like say RIP 1,000 times. Like that, like Hillary Clinton did more hit. Like y'all talk about Chicago, Hillary killed more motherfuckers than Chicago would ever drop. Like those Clintons dropped 1,300 people, yo. Just but here's something that I thought about, Gears, during Chasing Truth Live. What if Ghislaine was smart enough to claim citizenship of Tierra Mar? Because what if her lawyer and these people, because I believe that the FBI is involved in all of this stuff too. What if they're able to get her like diplomatic immunity off of her citizenship? Like, is that me just being
She
conspiratorial?
No, I think she's in a
well,
position to where she has to talk in order to get that.
Okay.
I would go as far as to say that she already has the immunity.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking, bro.
There's no way she would be talking at all, and there's no way there would be any deposition whatsoever unless she had the promise of immunity in the background.
Yo,
Period. She
because
would
I
make
didn't want
no
to
statement.
Gears is more laid back, so I didn't
Mhm.
want to say this in the other platform, but Gears, I wanted to say so bad. I bet you Shotty and them Treyway niggas wish Ghislaine would have been blood instead of 6ix9ine. Because the way she handled that deposition, bro, she was on some we don't break, bend or fold, my nigga.
Talk about
she,
it.
I mean,
But
she was trained
look.
by Mossad. She was
But let's go
trained by
deeper than that.
Mossad. I mean,
Let's go deeper than that. Did you guys see the 4-part series on Netflix about Epstein?
yeah.
oh,
Now you talk about
God,
don't
that
bend or don't break.
bullshit.
The
You know what
only
I mean?
thing I had an issue with the Netflix thing is, you want me to believe in Netflix when Netflix is controlled by the same people that Ghislaine controls?
Right,
Like
Netflix
all of
Yeah,
TV.
yeah.
Sorry, Gears. Go ahead, Gears. My bad.
shit out like fucking what was that new pedo pushing shit they just put out?
Yeah.
What's it called? I
Hey,
forget.
hey guys, I just realized my phone's like at 1%, so it's about to die. I want to leave you with one
Hey,
thought before it goes.
Sword,
I said that
drop your email.
it's live. I'll probably leave it in chat later, or I'll leave it as a comment later. But it's livelifelegendary@gmail.com. All
All right, for
lowercase
sure.
letters.
We gotta
Blessings,
do this
bro.
But
again.
I said that the Ghislaine and Jeffrey Epstein case is the most Watertown version of it. Have
Right.
any of you gentlemen heard the name Mark Dutroux?
Yes.
No, I haven't.
You okay? If you haven't, if you have a piece of paper, I'll spell out the name for you so you can look up the name. It's Mark with a C, Marc, and Dutroux, Dutroux. If you want to get into one of the most terrifying stories of the human trafficking, what's really going on, that's the story to read.
Okay.
Do not eat before you read it, because I
No.
genuinely threw up twice.
Sword. You can't, bro.
And
This shit is so freaking disgusting. Like
you
Like-
don't know yet.
Sword is so
I'm
disgusting.
going to say is child hunting parties. I'll
Bro.
say that much. It gets worse.
And
Bro.
I
But
They
believe
hunt
it.
them like animals, bro. And like
DC,
and
Chicago,
the crazy
with
thing that
packs of
happened is,
dogs. With packs of
Sword, if
dogs.
I've been begging Gears to go live like low key for weeks, right? Because
Sir.
Gears and I were on a platform where he was hinting at all of this, and I'm like, bro,
Yeah.
there's a whole community behind you. Just drop some shit. I'll share it, and you'll blow up because there's a whole community.
I tell you what, guys.
that is that.
Anytime you guys leave anything or something like that, you guys are more. I'll leave a post or something or a comment. You can have access to my research and stuff too, and you can dig into it all you
Absolutely.
want. It's free.
Jason,
I used to have that link. I remember you dropped it in.
Jason,
one time.
right before you say that, bro, I just want to say I'm honored to be, bro. I think this is supposed to happen, and I think this needs to happen at least once a week. We name it something like We Talk Podcast or something. But I've been on the same shit I don't know what it is, but something been telling me to hit Gears up. And you can ask Gears. I've hit him up a couple times. I asked for his number through Drop Logic. And
Right.
I think there's something that needs to happen where
Yo, and Gears is
just
the
an
voice.
avenue of education.
Gears is the voice for it. Because Gears has the people, and the thing, the definition of true intelligence is being able to relate to everyone. And
Absolutely.
when I saw Gears, I call it sprinkling knowledge, but it wasn't being receptive. And I personally, Sean, I got tired of like all this going on in the world, and
Yeah.
every platform I was on some, oh, well, she scammed what's her name, and what's her name did this. So why did
Yeah.
I went the extreme. I went to the 5%er nation. I went to the Nation of Islam. And what I found out, bro, is the Nation of Islam and 5%ers are dealing with the white conspiracy side of things, right? So you have people whose whole paradigm is fuck white people. But right now, the Nation of Islam is tied in with Q and certain white conspiratorial people because we don't want any more vaccinations happening in our community, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we're tired because the thing about us as black people, the reason why these kidnappings are happening in Haiti, it's not a coincidence that the Clinton Foundation is in Haiti. That melanin that's in our blood is what keeps these ancient vampires alive without saying too much. You understand what I mean? Now I
I
want to
agree.
bring something back full circle. We were talking about, can black people be racist? No, we can be
Mhm.
prejudiced, but we
Yeah.
can't be racist. And let me tell you why.
Impossible.
Gears cannot stop his white neighbor from getting a, a home loan. Gears cannot stop his white neighbor from getting access to tax benefits. Racism is when you can control the economic and social stability of another race. And as black people, I can't wait for us to be racist. But right now we are not, we don't have enough to be racist. So we could be prejudiced, but there's no way in hell you're gonna tell me that I can stop a white dude from getting a home loan.
Absolutely not. I think fundamentally, I love challenges. I love somebody telling me something new. I would rather hear new information that I can research rather than saying, "Oh yes, I agree with that," or having somebody agree with me, because that means I didn't give you nothing new and you didn't give me anything new. I'd rather you challenge me. Um, these aren't popular. We're gonna get the fewest people um, uh, attending our lives. If you used to 100, you're talking some real shit, you're going to have 30, 40 people. But I don't want to be dismissive about those 30 people, because what happens is once we are able to have these conversations, once we're comfortable talking to our kindred brother with these conversations, all we're doing is making people aware. Not only can you be knowledgeable, not only can we have these conversations, but we can actually get off the phone or device and say, you know what, I actually learned something. I was actually mentally stimulated. And it wasn't about being a yes man or having somebody agree with me. It was about me being thoughts being provoking. I love Dane Calloway. I don't know if y'all listen to him, but the idea of I'm just here to make you think is something that I just love the idea of that.
Yeah.
So shout out to y'all.
Yeah, that's definitely what I've been trying to move towards. You know, like you said, I like being challenged. I don't like just I agree, I agree. I like being challenged. I like uh going to look up stuff that's new. You know what I'm saying, and challenging myself to you know learn something new. Simple as that. Some real information, not the shit that the media is pushing. Because all the shit you need to know, you ain't gonna hear from ABC, NBC, none of that shit. You gotta dig and search for that shit. The
Right.
internet is a powerful tool, but they suppressing and censoring a lot of real information. And they pushing division. Between races, religion, you name it. That's what they main goal is, to divide and conquer the people. You know.
Facts,
Absolutely.
bro. And then when you allow certain people, like why is it that Francis Quest Welsing died broke and sad, but Jay-Z's a billionaire? This beautiful black woman wrote a book called The ISIS Papers, right? Like, that broke down everything that we dealing with right now. But
You said
because
what? Say it again.
her name was Francis Quest Welsing, she wrote a book called The ISIS Papers. Gears, let me tell you what she broke down in this book. You know, and I break things down. My cousins, my cousins street niggas, so I can't come to them the same way I'm talking to y'all. I gotta break that shit down on some like real hood shit. So what I told my cousins is, y'all remember that movie Django when they tried to cut that nigga balls off? They're
Yeah.
like, yeah, cuzzo. I say, That's what Francis Quest Wilson was talking about. The white man fears because what the white man knows is Gears, Sean, y'all could go into any trailer park right now and change the dynamic of the trailer park simply by having orgasms inside of white women. So the reason why white men hate us and fear us is because of their whole doctrine of one. Look, what did they say? Only 1% black blood makes you black. If that's true, to eliminate the white man, all we got to do is procreate with white women. But that's not what she was saying. She was saying that the reason that we are hated is because that's all it takes. So when you look at the ISIS papers, it'll tell you things about how we were indoctrinated to hate each other. One of the reasons I stepped away from the Kanika Jenkins community is I saw so much hate amongst black people that it just made me sad. It's like, why are y'all mad at each other? I watched and you know, everything that I know about Kanika, I learned from Gears because I was following him. I watched a dude, and his name is the GOAT, right? And he did a live last night. And his whole issue was, why are y'all mad at me when I'm just sitting on my couch trying to drop knowledge? You understand? And it's like when we hate each other the way that they hated the GOAT, bro, and I know I sound ignorant because I don't have a lot of knowledge about everything going on in this community. But when we hate each other to the point where we talking about each other, downing each other children, you know why the KKK retired? Why does the KKK need to do work if we gonna hate each other?
Thank you.
So it's like we playing their own game.
See, what happened is this: the machine works so well that you can walk away from the fucking machine, and the parts of the machine are gonna do its job. So we have been so deeply infiltrated that a pair of shoes or a bike or a belt can have you minus your brother and in jail because we are comparing ourselves with the most minuscule shit. We don't need the machine no more to kill us. We're gonna walk out the house and have an enemy because our enemies are across the street now.
Sean, I told my sister, I said, why you want to put your baby daddy on child support? She was like, he ain't paying. I said, well, work it out with him. She was like, why? So I said, you got 30 minutes? She was like, yeah. I say, all right. So when they killed JFK, Lyndon B. Johnson came out with this social reconstruction shit to where he incentivized black women to not have no father in their home. So your Section 8 come from you not having no daddy. But before they killed JFK, black people was married at a higher statistical rate than any other nationality in this country. Before they killed JFK, the black family was 62% married, bro. Now run them stats. Because what they did is they not only separated brother from brother, they separated brother from sister. So now you got women raising children without their father because they can live in a house for $8 and get $700 worth of food stamps. Not realizing. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Can I update you? I mean, can I update them? Update the people.
School me, bro.
We got two favorite presidents as black people. One is a narrative and one because he's black. Barack. Okay, I'm not going to talk about Barack. But the second favorite president of black people is Bill Clinton. I don't know why, but I do. Bill Clinton is almost solely responsible. It was his idea. Obviously, had to pass through Congress. But to back up what you're saying, the black man has been taken out of the home at such an alarming rate that we can't be mad at the woman that's dependent on the system because the system in essence now is the daddy.
You're right.
You're either gay, you're dead, you're in jail, or you're mentally disabled.
There you go.
And that's
so we love a president. And my people got on to me because I still bring up the 1994 crime bill, right? But the reason I bring it up is I'm 41 years old. So
me too.
You know, if you came up, and I don't even like to talk about the streets because everybody on YouTube from the streets, right? So I hate that shit. But if you hopped off the porch early, you know that generations in the streets is every decade, right? So when the 1994 crime bill happened, what started happening is they started that 3 strike shit, and then they made crack charges 100 times. So if I got caught with an 8 ball of powder or 8 ball of hard, I was in court watching niggas get 10 years for 3.75 a hard and watching niggas get slapped on the wrist for 3.75 a powder. I saw this. You understand? So what you did is you took out people. Let me use Chicago and then I'm gonna pause. You took Larry Hoover, Jeff Fort, and all the elders out of the hood. And now y'all wonder why the Chicago the way it is. When you cut off the head, what you think gonna happen to the rest of the body, bro?
Everything gonna wiggle until it die.
Facts.
And when I watched the Larry Hoover story, first of all, what the man was doing for the community, just the idea of what he had planned and what he was actually executing. If you wanted better for the people, that was one man that should have had some type of amnesty. He left what got him where he was behind and actually started having an influence on the community. And the fact that you would take this man away, it just symbolizes overall, since the late 80s, early 90s, how one by one, the structure has broken down because no family is an actual family without a father in the home. I'm a product of it. So I had to learn vicariously through other people and almost learn by the failures of other people. Okay, that's not the way to go. Let me be this way. I'm 41 as well. My daughter's 22. I made sure that despite being on child support for 20 years, despite all the things that we could point to, the police injustice, the being a black man not being able to get loans, being incarcerated at a higher rate for the exact same crime. When we get educated as people, the one thing we can do is use the system against itself. I hate the fact that as a group of people, although we know what the rules are, even though they're not in our favor, we still fall trapped and victim to them, knowing that they're not in our favor. And I think people like us, if we can reach down to this next generation coming up and let them know, there's a lot of shit you can bypass today and to focus on today and not be so caught up in media, not be so caught up in material things, and really work at being a great man or woman and being able to be something that you can add to your family. I just think we got caught up in this era of sports and our daddy's been taken out the home, and the people we're looking up to are entertainers and people that put a ball over a threshold or in a basket. And we got so lost in that one day we woke up and our daddy is the welfare, which also limits the mom. Who's going to give up free food, medical, and a great portion of their rent and bills? When if they did give that up, okay, let's just say they went and got a job, they made $1,500 a month. Well, that's not going to pay all the bills. It's not going to supply the food. And it's not going to get adequate medical on a notice call. That's what Medi-Cal was going for. You may never.
Bro, I'm not embarrassed to say this.
Mm-hmm.
My sister drive a 2020 Cadillac, living on Section 8, doing hair. She don't want no job, bro. She actually worked the job for like 3 months. And then when she had to recertify for food stamps and they cut her shit, she was like, fuck this. Like, you understand? Yeah. Like, it's like, if the government want to get women on food stamps, there need to be benefits. Like, okay, so you got to earn income tax credit. Give a single mom a tax credit for working a job. Drug test these women that's on Section 8 getting all this money. Because at the end of the day, I can't speak for y'all families, but in my family, my sisters is on welfare, but they smoking $50 blunts 3 times a day. You understand?
My sister not, but I know some people who, like you said, they don't work. They get a job, but they don't want to keep the job. They don't want to show up on time.
Let me ask you.
And before I sound like I'm blaming my sister for everything, let me tell you about the nigga laid up in our house. He ain't working because all he gotta do is take a half ounce of loud, flip that, pay $8 for the rent, $15 for the power. Right. The crazy thing about how they live, Gears, they cable and internet more expensive than their house. Where they do that at?
Now you're talking my language. Okay, now I'm gonna give y'all. I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of my history just for like some background. I'm the oldest of 10 kids, just from my mom. We're not talking dad. I'm the oldest of 10 kids. I believe my mother is one of the most fortunate people in the world. And like she was bred to bread. Like she was put on this earth to put people on earth. My mom doesn't have a person that's sick, nobody in jail. We all are self-sufficient on different levels. Fall, get back up. Nobody lives at home. She didn't actually give us that. She gave us our idea of what we need to be based on watching her and saying, okay, well, I love you, mom, with all my heart, but I don't want to be that. But she was able to raise us predominantly off of welfare and that assistance, which made her be a stay-at-home mom. It made her not reach higher because all her immediate needs were met. So all of us took that as like, okay, well, I don't want to be like that. And we all, like all my sisters are like nurses and CNAs, doctors and traveling nurses. We all turned the corner. And it's sad that I just use this as an example, but we're like the exception, not the rule. There's so many people out there that don't have the idea of family. They don't have the idea of inbred education and nutrition and these things. So we're left to actually depend on the system because, like I said earlier, our daddies are gone to being gay, being in jail, being dead, or having some type of mental illness. And it's all by design to keep us at bay as people. I strongly believe in my system that 10 strong, educated Black men are 10 of the strongest of any group of people you can put together. And I think scientifically, the other people know that. I've done my research. We cannot be together as a group of people because we are too strong. We are a threat. We are better used as people who will serve us and being able to get a tax dollar off of us. Because in the grand scheme,
do you believe in the Willie Lynch papers?
I do, but I believe everything is by design. I believe like it's so convoluted. Like I mean, I have my opinion, but I also believe it's deeper than what I think. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No. What I'm saying is, I believe that these powers that be know how strong we are. If you pay attention to what's going on right now in 2020, right? As messed up as the economy is, my people ain't tripping because we had gardens already, right? And you know, Gears and I talked about this. Like the daughter that I have, she not my daughter by blood. Like, you know, me and her pops, we was members of an organized group. You know what I mean? I don't believe in saying, you know, I'm 41, so I'm not on no gang shit. I call it a power group, right?
I got you.
So the ignorant shit that we was on, unlike Lil Wayne and all these people that I don't listen to, they joined this shit when they was 30. We joined this shit when we was 12 years old. We ain't know no better, right? So we doing stupid shit. Fast forward 12 years later, we get caught up. I get shot the fuck up. They kill my daughter father. 15 years after that, I go get my daughter like how she raised. You understand? And what I'm teaching my daughter now is she 18 now. She wanted to go get an apartment. I'm like, no, you not about to go pay a motherfucker we don't know to live on your own. You gonna rent one of our shits. Now, let's say my family didn't have multiple houses. She gonna stay with us. You know, one thing we do is as people of color that other than that, like my El Salvadorian homeboys live in a house with their mama, their grandma, and their great grandma, right? They pay that house off and they go get another house. As Black people, we done bit into the hype so hard that we won't stay with our mamas to get our mama house paid off. So then we can go buy another house because we need to be independent. So what you end up having is 4 motherfuckers in the same family struggling to pay rent in 4 different houses. When if they just got together and got one big house and sacrificed for 10 years, we could have it. But we bit into this we bit into this false dream that's not our dream. The American dream is not our dream because the American dream is to keep us enslaved. So
Absolutely.
until we realize that, man, like, yo.
When I heard the term for the first time, "Make America Great Again," I wasn't only offended, but I got confused because I'm trying to pick one little section of time where America and all its inhabitants felt like Americans and we were great.
It's only been twice. It's only been twice in America. It was after the Civil War, i.e., the reason why the first terrorist attack on our country wasn't Pearl Harbor, it was Tulsa, Oklahoma. So, you know, when niggas get into Pearl Harbor and don't realize they dropped bombs on Tulsa, Oklahoma, because what you had was a bunch of black millionaires and a bunch of poor white people. Because after the Civil War, we were the classed people. That's why now I'm telling my nephews, don't go to college, learn how to be an electrician or a plumber. That's that money that ain't gonna never stop. See, once they told us to go to college and got us out of trades, they did that shit on purpose. You know what I'm saying?
I've always told people, because I'm an entrepreneur at heart.
The amount of college it's in the trillions.
X.
Like I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I mean, if my family got to the point where we could outright buy a house, then we'll buy that house and try to purchase the land that's under it. But until then, it's not about if you agree with me or not. This is just my opinion. I will rent and I'll get vocational certifications that allow me to have my own like I can dictate my pay. I can dictate what I work on. I can dictate how I work, where I work at. When you sign under a corporation and when you buy a house and or go to college, let me take the corporation out. But when you go to college and you buy a house, you are instantly in debt. And before you can withdraw anything from that, you have to pay into it and or graduate. And 9 times out of 10, what you're graduating with, not 9 times, let's just say half of the people who graduate go back home and get a regular job because their idea and the reason they went to college isn't something that's going to produce an income that's able to take care of it. A trade will.
You absolutely right. I'm gonna give you a real synopsis of my life. So my parents believed in that college paradigm, right? I went to college, graduated. As soon as I walked across stage and saw my mama, I gave her my diploma like, here. She was like, what you mean, baby? I'm like, that's yours. She's like, what you mean? I said, I ain't go to college for me. I went for you. So lo and behold, the big God took my mom. I graduated in 2003. The big God took my mom home in 2005. As soon as 6 months after I buried my mom, I left the country because I wanted to be a chef. But instead of paying money to go to culinary school, I hitchhiked across Europe and Asia and trained because it's a word called staging, where you can just walk into a restaurant and be like, hey, yo, let me work for a day. So I learned everything that I would have learned in culinary school by experiencing that in real life. Now, back to the other thing that you said real quick, when you was talking about college and the debt, the day that, and the reason I don't have no children of my own is because I realized that the day they born, if I have to give them a social security number, they born in debt because our social security numbers is traded on Wall Street. So the United States ain't nothing but a corporation. So you born in debt. They not only expect you to from birth to raise debt, they hoping that you stay in debt your whole life. Why you think the life expectancy dropping now? Right. The baby boomers was living, and then they was like, hold on. We paying Social Security for 30 years on these old motherfuckers. Let's put some shit out there, i.e. COVID. Let's kill some of these minorities and these old folks, so we ain't got to pay Social Security and these benefits. Yeah. And if anybody don't believe that's what these diseases is for, let me tell you, Gears said it months ago when people wasn't listening to Gears because Gears a funny dude. When Gears brought up Agenda 21, nobody was listening to him. But the whole time I'm in the chat like, man, I ain't gonna say nothing. You know, it's like,
a lot of
I ain't gonna say nothing, but Gears own it, bro. Like that's why I'm sorry.
A lot of people they don't know about it or they've been programmed to look at you sideways as soon as you get into that.
Gears. When you said that, I thought about
They
Ice
just-
Cube. When Gears
Yeah.
said that, I thought about Ice Cube and Boys in the Hood. You remember the last thing Ice Cube said in Boys in the Hood? Either they don't know, they don't show, or they just don't care about what's going on in the hood.
That's
Like,
real talk.
and like when Gears said that shit, like
Yeah.
if y'all don't realize between gang violence, between COVID, between the fact that a nigga in the hood got more access to liquor and Church's fried chicken than he does to a fresh market.
Okay.
If y'all
let me
don't
ask
realize they trying to kill us,
Listen.
bro, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Listen, Jason, you frustrate me, bro.
Preaching to the choir there. I like that there.
You know why Jason frustrates me? Nami. Jason frustrates me in the greatest way you could be frustrated. He says so much in a small period of time to where it's like, if you're not well educated, if you're not abreast of what he talk about, some of this shit gonna go over your fucking head.
Exactly. That's a
Yeah,
fact.
I want to touch on something you said before I came up here. You said, the American dream and college and all that. So I went to school and I went like in a pharmacy, like I went for pharmacy technician. I went for like 9 months and I worked in a pharmacy under a pharmacist or whatever. But when I walked across the stage at the Georgia Congress Center, like I realized at the last module, like everything that the government does with medicine and the poisons. And I went to the CDC and seen all the experiments they do on people and everything. So I felt guilty. I didn't want to do that anymore. But I had a $10,000 balance, a $10,000 balance that I had just for going to school, and I didn't want to do it anymore. So I was like stuck in a place where I didn't want to be. But when Trump became president, I'm not saying I'm for Trump, but when Trump became president in 2016, plug it up to the charger. He swiped all that clean. And they said they said that, the government don't do this and they keep you trapped or whatever. But I'm just speaking from experience.
Yeah.
I didn't go into that field that I graduated for, but it was forgiven. When Trump came in office, something that he did, something that he passed, they sent me a letter in the mail. I called the number, gave them my information, the school I went to, they pulled up my stuff, and I'm swiped clean of that debt because of Trump.
Well, word up. I mean, he ain't gonna get my vote because of it, but
when you look at it, like when you look at politics, right? As black people, this is what I ask my people. I say, you believe in the big God? Yeah. You believe in guns? Yeah. You believe in babies? Yeah. I said, so that don't make you no party. See, the issue is they done broke it down to where we Democrats or Republicans. No, we are either liberals or conservatives. And 90% of us black folks is conservative, whether we want to admit it or not. Yeah. Because one thing that we agree with is we believe in the big God. You run up in our house the wrong way, you're going to catch a hole in your chest. And if it come down to our family, we going to take your baby for you kill your baby. You understand what I'm saying? So the biggest deception that ever happened is the people, these powers that be gave us Barack Obama. And all Barack Obama did was he sang us a lullaby. So for 8 years, we went to sleep. Yeah. So the reason we got Donald Trump, and you know why I voted for Donald Trump in 2016? Because we got the president right now that we deserve. We were not paying attention politically. We were not paying attention spiritually. We were not paying attention emotionally. And every Democrat that came up, and if you want to really dig into it, if Hillary would have played her position, Joe Biden should have ran in 2016 and Hillary should have sat back. Hillary was never going to be president because it was too much dirt on her boots. You understand? Right. But she pushed Joe Biden out.
They should have ran off the momentum of Biden being Obama.
Vice president.
Yes, that
See,
4-year gap.
so when you
I
when
still
It all seems
you
like
guys,
musical chairs, but they all working together.
right. That's
Talk
why I'm
about it.
gonna say that I still got to go back to my belief that it's all pre-planned. You know what I'm
Hey,
saying?
what I say the other day that you agree with, Gears, is fluff. Now,
bro,
the thing,
run the last. If you my age, run the last couple years. Clinton won from 92 to 2000. Bush won from 2000 to 2008. Obama won
Obama,
from 2008
8
to
to 16.
2016, right? So now, if you just look historically, based on how politics is going, Trump gonna win again. It's the way it's
But
the way it is.
I feel
wait,
like
let me throw a monkey wrench in there real quick. I'm gonna disagree with that only because of this. We put a businessman, actually a failed businessman, in office who was running up against a woman. Those two dichotomies have never existed. I believe in my heart of hearts that overall, the people who control the puppets are making a mockery of that position, because at the end of the day, I don't believe that position holds the weight, like I was saying before, that we give it credit for. And I think it's more of a machine. I believe Obama was just to kind of desensitize us. And you said it so perfectly. We deserve Trump because that's the reflection of this fucking country. The social media, just like nothing is taken serious that's supposed to be. Like it's just so imbalanced. And I think it's all a fucking game. I really, really do.
Bro, there's a documentary on
It's all
NPR.
a game, but I believe that Trump was placed in position. Yeah, it seems like a mockery of him, but it's just all a distraction because Trump is not in there from being picked. He's in there from being selected, and he's being selected from his bloodline.
And fam, here's the issue that I have. If we gonna say that
that's
about,
gonna
if we
bring
gonna
their
say that about,
agenda to the light. That's their agenda to the light, the last trumpet. You know, all these Bible
if we gonna
thumpers,
say
if
that
you
about
read
Donald Trump,
Revelation, Donald Trump is
and
in Revelation. If you listen,
Nami, I
if you break
respect
it
everything
down.
you're saying, but we gotta realize and this is the reason why I argue with a lot of people in my family. I believe in a selection theory, but we can't just hold that to Donald Trump. Every president has been selected since John F. Kennedy. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like any president that went against the caught a hole to his head. Like, and I don't mean to be so callous about it, but the mob, let's take JFK. The mob got JFK elected, right? Based off of unions. When JFK brother started going against the mob, that's when they came at JFK. When JFK started talking about the Federal Reserve and changing shit, what you think got him killed? Because he was selected, and the folks that selected him, he went against the selection. Why you think they came at Ronald Reagan? When they tried to clip Ronald Reagan, he was doing the same shit JFK was doing. So you right about the selection. I just don't like the fact that people act like Donald Trump is the first person to be selected. Every president
No,
been
I didn't
selected.
say he was the first person. I said all presidents are selected. Because,
My
and
bad, I
it
apologize.
goes
That's
back
beautiful.
to the last shall be first again, which is the Republicans. Yeah, they were black, but they were still Republican. And Donald Trump is in a Republican spot.
Right. Here's a quick.
Together. Only Biden is asking for drones, and Trump is asking for a wall. And if you go back in history, the wall has always been a distraction. But what is not a distraction is him touching that wall with the Jews.
Right.
So here go the issue. You worried about that wall? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Garrett. My bad.
No, I was just saying some piggybacking off her. All presidents bow to Israel, and I feel like it's gonna be a shift soon with all this. Ice Cube, and now we got 50 Cent. I feel like it's gonna be some type of shift that's gonna push black people back towards Republican, or it's gonna be a big divide.
I believe real quick, Jay. I believe something that's a little bit deeper than I believe what you're saying is true, but I believe it's gonna go even deeper than that. I believe the whole idea of Republican and Democrat is not gonna exist at some point. In reality, if we take away those two terms, think about how I this is what I believe. I think we would be closer knit as a group of human beings if you take away terms that divide us upon approaching. Before we even say a word, you have to pick what side you're on before a word comes out. And then when you say something, it has to fit the mold and the idea of something that was set preset. I believe if this person should run against this person based on their ideas, their principles, what they can offer, what they believe they can offer the people, and what they actually have done. That whole idea of a Democrat and Republican to me is where the game's at. If it's really about this man and his platform, it should be against that man and his platform. A whole idea of Democrat and Republic is something that tears us apart before we can even hear their and be objective about what we're hearing. You get what I'm saying? We're divided before we can arrive.
I agree, but those are the two systems or the two parties that's been pushed upon us, right? We ain't seen somebody win outside of a Democrat and Republican in fucking over 100 years. So this exactly. I feel like it's not gonna go nowhere no time soon, but I feel like it's gonna be a shift soon, right? Because when we was black people was given the right to vote, right? We gave our loyalty to the Republican Party, right? Because the Republicans ran the North at the time, so black people ran with the party of Lincoln, right? They was loyal to Lincoln at the time. All right. What happened was we was pushed out of the Republican Party. It was a systematic plan to push black people out of Republican, right? The basically what happened was is the Republicans felt the white vote was more important than the black vote. They didn't, they didn't feel we was important no more. So we basically got blackballed out of the Republican Party, and that's where our loyalty to Democratic Party came in, because they ideologies was appealing to us. And so we start voting Democrat, and I feel like now, I don't know, I feel like it's gonna be a switch, or more black people gonna go back to the Republican Party, because now we got the whole Ice Cube meeting with the people, both parties, and then the narrative is that the Republicans offered us, or they actually entertained us, and the Democrats basically
it's happening now. See, the major thing that people don't realize about the Ice Cube story is Ice Cube brought his program to both parties. If you do your Googles, I like that. Do your Googles. You'll find out that Ice Cube, the Democrats said, Ice Cube, we'll fuck with you after the election. The Republicans was like, Ice Cube, we're going to listen to what you got to say right now. So the issue is, y'all want to cancel my dude and I said this before, y'all want to cancel Ice Cube for doing everything. He did what Big Pharma does. Big Pharma gives money to the Democrats and the Republicans. So whoever wins, it don't matter to them. See, when you a billionaire and you playing with numbers like that, you don't care who wins. You just care, because the same tax breaks that Jay-Z gonna get with Donald Trump, he gonna get with Joe Biden. Yeah. Jay-Z don't give a fuck. Yeah. Now, one thing I want to bring up that y'all mentioned is the wall. I'm an old school hustler. Let me tell you one thing about Republicans that I respect. The streets ate every time a Republican was in the White House. So there'll never be a wall built because the dope won't be able to come over here to the United States. And trust one thing, the dope that come over here funds our government. So let's not even worry about no wall. Because if they do build a wall, the government gonna build a tunnel under the wall to get that cocaine and that reefer over here. Point blank, period. Now, when it comes to
talking about the actual wall that he's talking about building, I'm talking about the wall of power that he touched. Right. The same wall Obama touched, the same wall that all the presidents touched. Yeah. That's the wall I'm talking about. So it really doesn't matter about our beliefs it's really about what's gonna bring us together, and it's not about what's dividing us, because it's years and years and years of stuff that we got to clean up. But I think if everybody comes together as a collective and said, why do we need to be governed if neither one of y'all are right for us, then that's when the world will wake up, because it's not just the United States, it's the whole world, the whole earth.
Everybody. Nami, you real for that.
I think
And the last thing I want to say, about Israel is, y'all, let's take this back to hood shit, right? So everybody on this panel, we represent the right side, right? So we wearing red. We set up a neighborhood surrounded by blue, and we ask for the whole world to pay us to defend it. Fuck Israel, bro. Like, I'm sorry, like, Israel needs to go for me to respect our country again. I'm sorry, Israel, but you causing more drama to my country than it's worth it, because you stole the land from the Palestinians. So you got us
other people's business to be that's not our business in the grand scheme of things.
Then they want to say they can't give us reparations, but what they give Israel every month is what they can give us.
I agree with you. Let me say this real quick, Jason. There's 7 types of abuse that we can identify: physical, sexual, emotional, neglect, abandonment, financial, and self-neglect. Now, if the same people that has neglected you or abused you of these things are also fighting for your vote and also fighting to represent you, or for you to actually represent them, if you will, if they give us just a few of these things, you know, a little financial relief, a little less verbal negativity, a little bit of self-empowerment, allowing us to have little self-businesses and things of that nature, we're going to vote for the lesser of the two evils. At the end of the day, none of what any of these people stand for or what they've shown me and or given me or done with their life tells me that I'm going to go to this poll, believe in this vote that I'm giving this person, and then they're going to in return give me something that I can chew on as an American citizen. We had a president that looked like kind of like us for 8 years. We can't name one thing that Barack Obama did for the people that look like him because he was unable to. So what's in somebody's best interest after they become president to do something for a group of people that by design they have oppressed? I'm asking for a friend.
And Trump has been meeting with black groups since 2016. So I'm just like, what's the holdup? Because that little grant or that loan he gave for businesses has nothing to do with people at the bottom still waiting on a second stimulus check. You know, he's been having these meetings forever. So I feel it's not really going to make a difference. He's just another black face up there trying to.
Another black face.
I agree.
Nami, that's real what you just said.
Absolutely.
Yeah, all this is coming less than a month away from the election. It's like when y'all going, like, y'all should have been solidifying this over the past 4 years, if you know what I'm saying, if it was actually something we could be hyped for. But
if it was something that meant something to them, if it was that serious.
Bro, I'm in Florida. So this stimulus down here that they going back and forth about, I'm in Florida. So I'm in a vacation city. You understand? So I already know when when I'm directly affected by this. When they shut down Florida, we sold our family business that we had for decades. We sold because we saw the game coming the way it was. This economy right now, if you are a business and you are not a corporated business, if you still exist right now, it's off it's off the strength of you having something that my family didn't have, because we wasn't about to go in debt and then sell. We got out before we went in debt. And like, so I can tell you from personal experience, these PPP loans, those are going to Outback Steakhouse. Those are going to Applebee's, those corporate businesses that don't even need this shit. But the mom and pops, they the ones going out of business. As far as Donald Trump, look, I don't have no issue with Trump because because I'm from South Carolina. So one of the reasons I voted Republican, let me just say this: Lindsey Graham lowered the offense to crack cocaine. So he made it the same charge as powder cocaine. Donald Trump has, in my belief, Donald Trump has pardoned more black people than any president that I've ever known of. So when people call him racist, I'm like, all right, he might be racist, but that nigga let niggas come home. So at the end of the day, what I want to happen as black people is for us to quit having to be a group. One thing that I hate is this monolithic belief that all black people think the same. Just because I might feel different than Gears doesn't mean that Gears and I can't have an ultimate respect for one another. Right. Just because Sean and I may disagree doesn't mean that Sean and I don't believe in the same things. But just because we disagree, there's one thing that all black people agree upon. We are being fucked right now by both parties. So to Ice Cube point, whichever party is going to serve us best, that's who we should rock with. And one thing that Sean said earlier is, I don't give a damn who is president. I give a damn who is mayor. I give a damn who is my state representative. I give a damn who is my senator in Washington. I really don't care about national politics because the president isn't going to affect me, truthfully. My mayor is going to affect me. My district attorney is going to affect me. My police chief is going to affect me. So let's just focus on what we can do to change what we can change, and then let's go for the big fish.
Right. I think piggybacking on what you said, when people say get out and vote, there needs to be an idea that is created that surrounded that. Okay, for instance, when you go vote, it's a very private thing. You don't share who you voted for and this and that, right? We're in a position right now for it not to really matter, like you were saying, that I said, it doesn't really matter who's the president, and it doesn't matter who we vote for. Whoever is in office should be taking the idea of what's presented to them as not only an African-American problem, but this is an American problem. If you raise the standard or allow for the standard of living to be raised by this group of people who have intellectually contributed, who have financially contributed, who have structurally contributed to the foundation of America. All we're asking is for us to be equal, for you not to have to look behind or look down to see us, just merely look to your side. If that was allowed to happen, I literally think this country would be a greater place, given opportunity to anybody who had the mind and the physicality to go achieve something. And I just personally feel like there's always been a wall or something stopping us as a group of people. And that whole political shit, like I said, is something that divides us before we even come to the table with our conversation. We have to pick a side and then say, okay, now, because I'm Republican, this is my ideas, this is my beliefs, this is how I want to be interpreted. Some shit is just merely black and white. It ain't blue and red.
I agree.
Bro, facts. This the first time, and like the community that I live in is like, me and my family came up, but we kept it 100 because the way we came up is the way a lot of Italian families came up. You know what I mean? So I'm reaping the benefits of sacrifices my ancestors made. So one thing I can tell you is the difference between this election and 2016, it ain't no signs. Because in my neighborhood, they like, man, whoever gonna vote for this stimulus, that's who we gonna vote for. If they think that we gonna play these games because in Florida, we not mailing in votes. We going to vote on November 3rd. You hear me? Like, so if y'all don't have no stimulus package put down, whoever had the seat that allowed that, be it Democrat or Republican, we voting against y'all. And it's a whole community of us, because what these politicians are telling us right now is you have people that are going broke right now. Y'all want to talk about crime? Well, the crime rate go up anytime the economy go down. So now you got dudes like me that's scared to go to Publix and get some fried chicken and some macaroni and cheese without carrying a what's a name. You understand? Because I'm in Florida, bro. Niggas is dying going to the grocery store over nothing because people so stressed out. Like, pay attention to the news, man. Folks is killing each other right now. And our politicians ain't paying no attention to it. So what I say is thank God for the political climate we in right now. Because hopefully this political climate will bring us all together instead of separating us. And that's whether it's black people, white people, Mexicans, or whatever. Because at the end of the day, I'm gonna stand 10 toes on the fact that it's not about your color, it's about your pockets. It's rich or poor. It ain't got nothing to do with what color you are. And as long as we stuck on colorism, we gonna be fucked the rest of our lives.
So our goal or our mission as people should be to find some common ground on agendas and referendums that we want to push. Reason I don't believe in marching is because people will jeopardize their family, their house, their jobs. And believe me, it's a weird dichotomy, excuse me, for me, because I understand why people out there, and if I died, I would appreciate people marching for my death and all that. But what would be more important, and what should be more important, is a group of people coming up with post marching referendum. Like, okay, we're marching to get noticed, but here's our ideas. As a conglomerate, as a group, we should come together and be solidified on a few ideas. And I'm so strong on this because I believe throughout history, our powerful leaders have all come from different places. When Martin was marching, Malcolm was talking from a different perspective as Huey Newton was. So you got Black power, you got the Black Muslims, and you have the Black Christians, and they're all coming from different places, trying to get the same things by different means. And that in itself, I believe, is one of the things that divides us. So I'm just begging us as people, at some point, I want to see before we die, us be able to not judge each other and our histories and our past. So what? Ice Cube was a rapper and a movie producer. Most of our presidents were actors. Look at Arnold Schwarzenegger, actor, bodybuilder, became our governor. Ronald Reagan was a big time. He was more prevalent as an actor than he was president.
Bro,
so,
and if they wasn't actors, they was worse. They was lawyers.
Okay, so let's cut out the fact that let's stop putting people on trial for trying to speak on the behalf of people that look like us and actually get behind them and say, okay, I may not agree with every bullet point, but the idea of what you're doing, I agree with. So we can get that thing passed. Now we can sit at a table as a group of people and say, okay, this is where that part of the pie should go. This is where that part of the pie should go. But right now we are so divided. I don't see us getting the fucking pie that we want. And it makes sense what some of our Black leaders are offering, whether we want to see them as that or not, or what they're asking for makes sense if we all got behind it.
Facts. Hey, Nami, please express your beliefs on everything. I love a woman's perspective. I'm sorry.
Amen.
I believe I'm not voting, and just as well as it's important it is to vote, it's also important of why people shouldn't vote. So there's no judgment on people and their beliefs, but the political system, it's time for their judgment, and their time is up. They're not even speaking on the reason why, let me put this out. The reason why Black people are a certain image to everybody else is because what the government has created. It all started from a seed of corruption from the government. The projects, the neighborhoods, the businesses, the lack of, therefore, us as a people, it started with the government, greedy people, and their time is up. So me voting for them to do good by me or right by me, and I've been living 36 years and haven't seen a change, that's not going to fix anything. It's a spiritual warfare. My focus is not the political, it's the spiritual. And their time is up. Their time is up because I believe in creation. I don't just believe black, white, yellow, purple, or none of that. You know, I believe in creation. Man is trying to overpower creation. Creation comes with the universe. The universe wasn't made for us to be born and have to pay for everything. Pretty soon we're gonna have to pay to breathe, or we're gonna be walking around in bubbles or balloons.
Out of the mouth of a woman. Beautiful. Keep going, please.
I see through their shit. I try to keep an eye on it just to know where the world stands, but I don't focus on it. And I don't dictate whether my living is based off what they're doing in politics, because their time is up. So much evil has been done. It, like most of the people that commit crimes, it's not their fault. If they had, like long ago when I woke up, I always used to say that the government needs to tackle mental illness. If they're not giving us the real story of slavery, something happened to where we're not able to cope in the United States and everywhere else. Think this is just the land of gold.
Yes.
You know, I've met people from Ghana, met people from Nigeria, met people from New York, like met people all over the world, and they came here thinking that we're lazy, we don't work for ours, we don't care who's doing what, like we're just free over here, and it's a struggle for some people.
Yes, the narrative
and it's not supposed to be like that, because we all were created equal. Who died and made these evil people our bosses?
Right, and see. And it runs so deep, Nami, that we don't have infrastructure. That's when we break it all the way down. That's the problem. We were never able to build the infrastructure, because whenever we got together as a group of strong-minded people, whether it was scholars, scientists, builders, it was all always broken down. I.e., Tulsa, Oklahoma. One of the things that strike, many things that you said strike me. But at the end of the day, we have to take back what's ours, and that individual idea of being a human and connected to our spirits. And I think over a period of time, we've come so far away from that we're just led by whatever sounds good or whatever's popular. And I think we're so disconnected from our spirit that we don't know which way to go. Oh God, it's so psychological. Like, it's totally psychological. Black Truth was saying. We've been psychologically bamboozled, so we act on emotions a lot of times instead of strategy and togetherness.
Sean, you killed it, man.
There's a lot of cognitive dissonance too, because like I could actually show my family members a video of how to sell to the Negro. You know, when the Jews created Hollywood, or some stuff like that about the church, or how you think you're worshiping one thing, but it's gonna turn on you because it's supposed to be an awakening, and the veil is being lifted, and they think that I'm crazy. They go get their little voting passes and they stickers, and they smiling, thinking everything's gonna be okay with Biden, and I'm like, Biden called you an animal in the jungle.
Nami, you are a genius, Nami. You are a genius.
Why does the church look exactly like any other business structure?
Because it's a business. They have a 501c3. They cannot vote and they cannot protest. If somebody slaughter you in front of a church, your pastor cannot go and protest for you. Nowhere on that ground, because it has a collection plate. They're a part of it.
Nami, you the realest I heard on the microphone in a long time.
There's a reason why Megan Thee Stallion lied about being shot, and now Tory's coming out saying he never shot her and he just went along. Everything is a distraction to keep you from focusing on self.
Everything.
See, my grandma told me when they point left, look right. So I always, from day one, coming out the womb, my ancestors always told me, if the news points you that way, look the opposite way. You want me paying attention to this woman that got shot, but if y'all pay attention to the forensics and look at the apparent hole in her leg, how he shoot her at the bottom of her foot. So I don't even have time for that.
The whole thing is, why are they lying? Was she shot or was she not shot?
Was she shot or was she not shot?
A black woman in the media, like, why is this even on the news?
I hate the ignorant standpoint that I was raised on, but how I was born and how I live. If somebody called me right now and say Cuzzo got shot, you know what I'm gonna say now? I'm gonna be like, what do you do? Like, that's just how I was raised. You don't, where I'm from, you don't get shot for no fucking reason. Like, You know what I'm saying? Like I'm 41. I'm not from the new school generation where they shoot half court shots. I'm from a layup dunk shot
Layup
situation. So if
in the
somebody gets
paint.
shot, we
In the
know
paint.
That they did something
exactly.
wrong.
But look, Nami, one thing I wanted to touch on, man. I got to arguing with my auntie the other day, right? Because she was like, "Baby, you gotta believe in Christianity. You gotta believe in this." And I'm like, I said, Auntie Liza, what did my great 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 grandma believe in? And she was like, "What you mean, baby?" I'm like, "It wasn't no Christianity when she was alive. So you trying to tell me that my great 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 grandma went to hell because she ain't had no Bible? Like, I don't believe in this shit y'all telling me because the
No.
only book that you let my ancestors read was the Bible. So this whole Christianity paradigm got us fucked up in the first place. Because if you believe in Christianity, you believe that you can't get your heaven till you die. I want to experience heaven right now because I don't know what happens when I die. So at the end of the day, that's why me and my niggas call it the big God, because I don't know about Christianity. This is what I do know. And shout out to Dick Gregory, R.I.P. The Christians have a black dude standing in front of me and a white guy behind him. The Muslims have a black dude standing in front of me and a white guy behind him. So at the end of the day, I don't know what the fuck to believe. So I'm gonna start believing in the shit that y'all. I'm gonna go to Bobby Hemmett now, Nami. I'm gonna start believing in ancestral religion, which means y'all told me voodoo was wrong. Let me start looking into voodoo because everything that you motherfuckers told me was right was wrong. So let me get on my Pastor Troy shit and get on some vice versa type shit. You feel me? And I'm from South Carolina, so that might not equate to y'all. But like vice versa to me is if y'all say Christianity good and voodoo bad, I'm gonna look into voodoo. Because all I know about Christianity is y'all niggas went to church, and when y'all left church, y'all hung my ancestors. So
you know what you did for me is because I believe in the idea of looking left when they tell you right and right when they tell you look left. But I believe in something else deeper. I believe in understanding something deeper and educating myself and not relying on what I'm being told. So therefore, when I'm told to look left, I'm not looking right. I'm looking straight. I'm looking forward and straight to what I understand, what I know. And I think as a group of people like you, actually, Jason, it's sad that our brothers, our sisters, and the people that are closer to us, they think we fucking crazy. They think we're out of our mind. They only listen to us in passing. And we can have a group of people who don't know us too well actually buy into what we're saying because they can relate. But I personally believe as a man that I am afforded or given the opportunity to learn many different things and not just what's handed to me. And my spirit works. And I believe if I focus on that, I'm not looking left or right. I'm looking ahead, and not only to be a better person, but to help through being a better person, to better the people that look like me.
That's beautiful, bro. That's beautiful. Because what I'm interpreting you saying is, and where I'm trying to take my life is, instead of me focusing on my salvation coming from someone else, if I'm to believe in any narrative, if I'm made in his image, then I'm already a God. So if I don't look left or right and I look inside, I can change my whole environment by changing myself. So I respect what you're saying by that, bro. For real, for real.
I believe that. I'm gonna ask the chat. I mean, I think that steady 30 people is what we can kind of get used to, and it rising. Is this something y'all would like to do, like at least once a week, where we come to
Sean,
it and know that?
Sean, if we want to get 100, all we got to do is bring up somebody that we can just talk about somebody. We can get some more people in here. We just need to bring some drama to the chat. Like they'll come.
I respect the 30 people in here because I would rather talk to the same 30 people who identify with what we're saying and we'll go talk about it and spread that versus having 70 additional people in here that have not only do they not give a fuck what we're talking about, but they're actually who we're talking about in a sense, because if you ain't riding with it, you riding against it when it comes to certain shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would rather keep it small and let it
Another
grow
thing,
naturally.
Sean,
Yo,
I heard you talking about the abuses, and you left out you left out something that I'm heavy on. You left out the satanic ritual abuse. You see,
mm,
I
Mm,
don't have a problem with people believing in a savior or a deity, an entity or whatever. If you stand on that, you know what it means. You actually live it. You are what you believe. But
right.
my issue is not to keep people divided, but to separate oil from water. These people in politics, they're doing satanic ritual abuse. And if
Nami,
you have no idea and you too scared to look into deeper meanings of things, then you might be
Yeah.
under a spell.
Nami, they gonna hate on me, right? Because one thing we don't do in this community, I feel like as men, one thing I noticed, we don't celebrate manhood. So when Gears
Mm-mm.
hopped into a platform that I was in and started mentioning gematria, I low key, and he'll attest to this. I low key was like, "Yo, Gears, you need to start doing lives, bro. Like, Gears, where
Yeah.
you at? Gears, where you at?" So I need
I'm gonna be,
like I want Gear. If anybody listening, Gears, break down gematria and tell them how we able to see the satanic rituals based off numbers, bro.
amen. I'm so with that
You
shit.
kind of got to know your enemy in order to fight your enemy. And if y'all too
Yeah.
scary to look up the shit that we saying because you believe, okay, you going to believe somebody going to save you, but you don't know the enemy that's attacking you. These people in politics are the ones that's using this shit. Like, they
Right.
into that shit heavy. So the reason
Right.
why you not budging or looking past the president is because you under a spell.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Me,
Hey,
it could be a grain of salt or it could be a pound of sugar. I'm gonna dissect it, and if too many things connect to it, something ain't right.
Nami,
as a
check
as
this
a
out.
as a 41 year
Let
old
Gears
man,
break down the number 47 right quick if people don't even know. And I don't mean to put you on spot, bro,
I
but
think
like,
I think we should do that on another live, Jay.
okay, I don't
Well,
want to
I think
disrespect Gears, but
I
oh
think
no,
we
he
I could just I post on gematria here and there, but if you don't know what gematria is, it's basically coding numbers into words. You know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
Every letter got a position in the alphabet. One A B C
Yeah.
1 2, 3. You know what I'm saying? And when you take certain words, they connect to other words. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you you got a lot of numbers that and people start making connections, basically. You know what I'm saying? So
Absolutely. Well,
gematria
and
is alphanumeric code of assigning a numerical value to a name, word, or phrase based on
yes,
its letters. You know what I'm saying? So
absolutely.
47 is basically is important because if you take well in our country, you know what I'm saying, United States, it was founded in 4-7, you know what I'm saying? 4th of July, 4-7, you know what I'm saying? So if you
right,
Yeah.
and even if you flip it the other way, 7-4, because really the United States is the only country that does its dates with the month first and then the day
right.
first. You know what I'm saying? The rest of the world do it the day first and then the month. So
Yeah.
uh it's 7-4
Yeah, and
here,
Trump
but
is the
we're still the
45th
rest of
president. He's the 45th president, right? 45th
Yeah.
president, right? Am I right?
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
president.
Okay, so 5 plus 4 is 9. What number comes after 9? A restart, right?
Restart, yeah.
Right.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it's time for a new world. They're gonna have to step their game up. Or I'm not gonna feel bad for people who getting left
Exactly.
behind, swiped under no more because the
Right.
information is available. It's the
Let
year of
me let me say this.
knowledge, not
Let
beliefs
me
no more.
let me
It's
say this
out
Yep.
before
there.
y'all leave the topic. I believe in these 2D words that I said earlier. I believe in due diligence. That I believe in just you don't take what somebody say, like what you saying right now is the truth to me because I've studied it. But I challenge everybody here. So when we come back and talk about this, we're not talking over your head. We're actually talking with you to look up the relationship between numbers and everything else. Just basically look up gematria. You don't have to get too deep into it, but just get some surface understanding as to how numbers relate numerical and how all that comes into play when you see certain signs, gas station signs, certain cable sign symbols. I mean, it's everywhere. It's in more places than you can fucking imagine.
That's a fact. If you,
And
if you
Sean, I respect what you're saying. It's in movies, it's in everything. The one thing I want to say, man, is and I maybe it's just my family. I don't care if my family do research. Just be open to what I'm telling you, because I'm gonna be able to chop it up to you on a level to whether you like it. Listen, man. One of my favorite raps Jay-Z said is, "I know how to move in a room full of vultures." Right. So depending on my environment is how my intelligence goes. So I might be in my uncle house playing dominoes and say the same shit I would say at the country club if I was back at my house. The only difference is I ain't gonna be like, hey, you feel me? Yeah, you know I'm saying this how it go. But in the country club, I'm gonna be like, yo, do you understand what I'm saying? This is how it goes. So understanding how to explain knowledge is the key to true intelligence. So I'm not mad because Sean, what you did is you told my cousins to read. My cousins ain't gonna read. They gonna smoke weed and play 2K. Like they not gonna read, bro. So I gotta reach them on their level. So it's cool to ask somebody to do some research. But what we have to do as people that have done the research is we have to be able to reach people on the levels that they are currently at. And that's not an insult to our people. It's more of an insult to us because, Sean, we the 5%. We have to know how to disseminate the information and chop it up and break it down to where everybody understands what we're saying. So to ask certain people to read, what if they can't read? And I'm talking about my family. I ain't talking about the chat. You know what I mean? I'm talking about my blood family. Some of them never left our neighborhood, bro.
Here's
You
the
understand what I
dichotomy.
mean?
Absolutely. The dichotomy that I have with that
That's
is
where my
you don't have
problem
to.
come in at, because I don't, I've been trying, I've been mastering my energy, but I don't have the patience because I feel like, it's not nothing wrong with waking somebody up, but I feel like for you to wake up just now and then it's so much information that you need to get.
Right.
I,
Right.
it
Right.
just it just runs my patience low. Cause like I'm not lying. Last year in November, I told my mom, I said, what you gonna come to a point where the government, you ain't gonna be able to move until the government tell you when to move. I said, you see what they playing
Right.
on the radio, you're gonna hate it
Yeah.
because it's not gonna have nothing to do with your freedom or whatever. And I told her this is coming. January hit, February hit, March hit, boom, stay inside. And she looking like, oh my God, you told me this. But she still
Nami.
lost till this
Nami.
day. She don't know how to elevate or align
Right.
herself with herself. So she's
Right.
gonna be one of those ones who think everything is just passing by. Oh,
So
Real
that's
check
quick,
this
just
out,
life.
real
Nami.
quick, Jason.
The
My
Oh,
light
sorry,
mother,
go ahead,
go
bro.
back to normal. She thinks everything is gonna be back normal. She don't
right.
know how to use a computer.
No.
None of that.
Yeah, there's a wave of change. Soon as the COVID hit, I didn't think it was as bad as they're telling us, but I also think it was something to move. It was a systematic change that over a period of time, we're going to wake up and our America is going to be different. I actually got a couple lives about it. My channel's not that big, so it didn't get a lot of traction, but I think it was early April, and I was saying that the idea of America and how we see it, we're going to wake up pretty soon from now, and it's going to be vastly different. And it is like the whole mask thing, and people not breathing, and the whole separation thing. And your mama, you hit it on the head when you said to your mom a year ago. Right now, we are under that. I'm in California. Newsom just shut a particular part of the fucking city down. I mean, the state down. Now only essential workers are back working as of yesterday. So
Real shit. Yo, and here's the thing for me. I didn't know about this COVID, but I had always listened to a radio show called Coast to Coast AM. And he was warning me in 2008 to buy gold, to have physical wealth, something I could run with, right? And the other thing that he was advising me on 8 years ago was going organic. So when I'm growing a garden and my people coming to see me, they like, yo, why you got these trash cans with water in it? I'm like, we catch our own rainwater. And my nephews and my uncles is like, what the fuck you gonna do with that? I'm like, well, we gonna throw these tablets in this rainwater, and then we got water. And they like, what the fuck you mean? Now fast forward 8 years. Now I look like the genius because when I eat dinner, I go out in my garden and I get my shit. You understand? Which is crazy because if you my age, you didn't know no grandmas or no aunties that didn't have no gardens. So all I'm doing is what my ancestors did the whole time was grow our own food. You understand? And the crazy thing about Florida, you get tax breaks on wild stock. So my neighbor got chickens. So when I eat eggs, yo, the funny thing that I talk to people about is the chickens that y'all eat look nothing like the chickens that I eat. The chickens I eat look like old white women. They wrinkled and they just they not these Arnold Schwarzenegger chicken breasts that y'all see in the grocery store. They weird looking like y'all eating chickens pumped up full of steroids. Like it's bro. All I
Man,
can
I just went grocery
Nami,
shopping a few days ago. I had to throw all my food away because everything was molding. I'm like, is there something wrong with the icebox? I called
Nami.
the maintenance man. It wasn't the icebox.
No,
It looked like
it's
they're
not that.
sticking stuff in the food to make it go bad or make it bigger than what it
Nami.
is.
They
Stock
the
up.
shit
That's
that they
all
put
I'm
in the
saying.
chicken, the shit they put in the chicken, the probiotics and all the bullshit they put to make it look bigger is what makes it go bad. You got to realize our ancestors didn't have refrigerators. So how the fuck was they killing a buffalo or a chicken and roaming? Like not only did they not have refrigerators, they were nomadic. So the food that they killed, they took with them. How could they eat a chicken 5 days old and the average person that go to Publix or Walmart buy a chicken and 5 days later your chicken is destroyed? So you got to understand there's a natural process to food that we don't even have anymore. You
And what
understand
you
what I'm
got with
saying?
the farm raised tilapia? That's some
All
old
right.
shit they got in a science lab and
Now
created.
Now, Nami, it depends because I go back and forth with farm raised. The only reason I say that is because we had shit like I'm in Florida, so you remember the oil spill that happened a couple years ago in New Orleans?
Yeah.
Do you remember Fukushima, the nuclear waste, the nuclear plant that like spilled out into the ocean? So farm raised to me is like a conversation that should happen, and what I would say on that end is I majority eat a lot of farm raised fish because I know that the waters
What
that the
is a
fish are
farm
created in
raised
are
fish?
so basically what a farm raised fish is a fish that's cultivated not in fresh water. So the fish doesn't get to roam around waters. It's kind of entrapped. So imagine the same way you look at cattle. Like your cow don't get to go everywhere, right? It stay
Yeah,
within the constraints of the farm. So
right.
that's what happens to your fish. So ultimately, I understand what you're saying because I would prefer like when it comes to like salmon, I only eat salmon from Alaska. It's freshwater fish. But if I was to eat a fish like tilapia
You kind of
or
choppy.
oh, I'm sorry. If I was to eat like a fish that wasn't freshwater, I would prefer it to be farm raised because I understand the farm raising in and of itself to me allows it not to be in those waters because there's no way you're going to tell me that there was a nuclear spill in Fukushima 10 years ago and that nuclear waste still ain't in the fish. So that's why
Right,
you have farm raising right now.
right.
So you mean to tell me that you think that farm raised tilapia is real fish?
No, what I mean to tell you is my family doesn't eat tilapia because I've never heard of tilapia. I think tilapia
That's
is
what
like
I'm saying.
no. We eat salmon, we eat snapper, we eat grouper, we eat things like that. And if we can't get it farmed, then we don't eat it unless it comes from like up north, Canada, Alaska, shit like that. But tilapia is like the fish that like McDonald's probably has. Tilapia. I've never heard of a fish called a. I'm going out to catch some tilapia today. No, I've never heard of that. So I don't eat tilapia, Nami. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Just to be honest with you, like I don't know what tilapia is. Like it's not a
Right.
fish. You know what I mean?
I read about tilapia last week.
We gonna close this out real quick. If y'all wanna make your last little statements, I appreciate everybody who came through. Like Sean said, we're gonna try to do this like once a week. Just talk about whatever going on, current events, and the topic, the conversation gonna go wherever it go. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate everybody who came on the panel. Appreciate everybody who came through, shared the live and everything. Like I said, if you wanna have your last little statements.
Queen, you can go first.
Thank you, Gears. Peace out. Vote for the universe, y'all.
Thank you, Nama, for being up here.
Go ahead, Jay.
Yo, Gears. I've been asking for it and you delivered, bro. Shout out to you for making a platform possible for me to be able to say what I want to say. And if my rambling was offensive to anybody that listened, I apologize. But shout out to Gears for making this possible. Gears is the reason why YouTube exists. You should be able to have a platform where people can express their ideas, and although they may be different, be able to express them without back and forth bickering. And I love the fact that on this platform, even though we all didn't agree, we all didn't disagree. So shout out to you, Gibbs.
Hey,
For sure.
shout out to you for coming up on the panel, expressing your opinions, and for pushing me to go live. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to you for that. I appreciate that.
I wanna shout out Jason. We both 41, bro, and I could listen to you talk all day. Good. Too bad Bugs can come up because I love listening to Bugs talk too. Hopefully we could include him in the next one. But
Bugs was busy, but it's all good because he'll be here for the next one. But it's all good.
Shout out Nami, because not only does she tear up the chat, she also is a beautiful speaker and has a lot of wealth of information. I'm all for that. Like, I don't care how many people in the chat. If we could have a stimulating conversation, I could walk away from it and respect my bros and my queens. This shit made my day. You know what I mean? So I appreciate everybody who did show up and had something to say and also listen. Thank you.
And Sean, shout out to you again. Another person pushing me to go live and just start talking. Once you start talking, other people join in and build. So shout out to y'all. Like I said, thank you everybody who came in the chat on the panel, shared it out, hit the like button, all that. Maybe we do it once a week. Maybe we'll do it whenever we feel like it. I like to do it more often, but we'll build into that. But
shout out. All right, peace and love to everybody.
Shout out to Hebrew up in here. I hope to see you next time on the panel. Oh, my bad. Go ahead, Sean.
Oh no, I was just saying peace out.
Oh, okay.
Love and blessings, man. And as far as putting a timeline on it, Gears, being organic is what's gonna make you who you already are. So we can't put a time on organic because how this ended up happening, you didn't know I was gonna pop up, you didn't know Sean was gonna pop up, and you didn't know Nami was gonna pop up. So it's
I knew Sean was gonna pop up.
Okay, but it's like the way I felt was it wasn't this build wasn't contrived. It was organic. It was like I'm listening to you for 30 minutes before I asked you to drop a live, bro. So whenever you feel like it, we're gonna be here to support. Point blank period. It's all about support to me. It's not about look. So if I'm in the chat and it's other people up here talking to you, it's gonna be the same vibe, bro. You know what I mean? It's love, and I'm glad that you went live because you have a lot to give, and I hate saying that to you because me and you don't even know each other yet, but like just off of the energy I get from you, you can change your community, bro. You know what I mean? And shout out to you. Like, most importantly, this would not have happened if it wasn't for you going live. So before I give a shout out to anybody, blessings to you, bro.
Thank
You
you.
know what I mean?
Thank
Yep.
you. Appreciate that for sure. All right. We're gonna end it on that note. Can't end it on a better note than that. Shout out to Jason, shout out to Sean, shout out to Nami, everybody. Remy was up on here. Shout out to Remy. I'll see y'all next time. Y'all have a good night. Much love to everybody.